Finding healthy snack choices for your kids can be a challenge. So many bad options out there. So where can you find a place that only is giving you good options? Well, that's Thrive Market. Let's be honest, raising a family today feels like navigating a maze of unhealthy options between hidden sugars, artificial ingredients, and misleading labels. It's so hard to know what is actually good for our kids.
Can't tell you how many times I go to the grocery store and I am like, oh, look, it's organic, it's healthy, it's good. And then I read the ingredients and there's a long list of chemicals in it. So at Thrive Market, I really trust them to show me options that are good for my family. Thrive Market makes it simple to find trusted family-friendly brands without spending hours in the grocery store. From snacks and school lunches to pantry staples, everything they offer is 100% non-GMO. The convenience of not having to go to the grocery store with the peace of mind that what I'm ordering is low sugar, gluten-free, organic, and high protein options is actually unbeatable. The Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app is one feature we can't live without. Simply scan a product you're used to buying and it instantly recommends cleaner, healthier alternatives. This has been a game changer for our family. Instead of bags of chips, we've opted out for snacks that Thrive Market organic veggie sticks and we'll never go back.
Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/VIALL and get 30% off your first order plus free shipping plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/VIALL. thrivemarket.com/VIALL.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick, and it's nice. It is nice to see you.
That's how he greeted me when he came home from his 3-day trip in New York.
That's not true.
He walked in and he was like, River! Dogs! Nice to see you. I'm the fourth in line. Isn't that crazy?
That is
That
crazy.
is not. That is
crazy.
Absolutely not true. No, she's ahead of Steve after Jeff. And no. I went to New York for our wedding.
Our wedding.
No.
Oh my God, I wasn't there.
Congratulations.
I went to New York. Let's try it one more time. I went to New York for our friend Emma's wedding and her husband Adam, good friends. You guys may know Emma Gray. She was a writer for HuffPost. Well, I went by myself. So, sometimes when you're a married couple, you have a kid, you have to divide and conquer. I went as a representative of the family.
I love Emma. I wish I would have been at the wedding. It's the flight to New York that I just cannot do. And you know what's fucked up about it is that when I'm with Nick, he puts us in row 50. When he's by himself, he's like, "Oh, let me upgrade to premium select plus comfort plus." But when he's with me, he's like, "We'll sit by the bathrooms."
I got an upgrade option.
He sent me a selfie on the plane, and I'm
back.
like, I noticed that there's an emblem on that seat right there,
Yeah.
and that's not on row 50. I would know. So
Is the mathing though? Is 2 coach seats the price of like
Thank you, Justin.
first class?
I don't give a fuck.
Well, I didn't
birthed
fly
his
first
child.
class. I didn't fly first
I
class.
birthed his child.
I
I
was
carried
given-
his child and then I birthed her. You think that I just
You could check yourself in, Nick, and then have her in the first class.
When Natalie's done
Oh.
complaining.
Sorry.
Mhm.
You know it's a good complaint, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, Natalie didn't get her. Well, this is a not to pivot, but question for the points people out there. I'm not a bunch of a points person. Fine. Credit card points, airline points. I got them. I started using them. I'm a Delta points person. Natalie has an account, but hasn't been accumulating them. So when we travel together, she doesn't get the perks of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Because you're stealing her points.
No, she's
Because
stealing.
you're booking her tickets.
stealing
Because he's
mine.
never used my Sky Miles number to book our tickets, so I don't get any points.
Anyways, I am curious though.
Flying
It's just
against me.
That's
from an
kinda
airline
evil.
standpoint. What is the point of having points? I'm a platinum diamond something bullshit. What does that even mean? What it means, what I think it means, is that instead of being not even on the upgrade list, I'm 15th. So what's the fucking point?
Because you can use your points to upgrade.
Every 2 years,
Yeah.
I can
Sometimes you
buy
can rack
myself a
enough.
free plane ride,
Yeah.
and that's after a lot of money spent.
True. Sometimes gives you access to lounges.
I don't need your fucking lounges.
He
Honestly,
won't let me go in the lounges either because they charge him $50 to let me go in.
Well,
so he
I'm
doesn't.
if you got her Sky points up,
It's kind of like
and
the
she was gonna
McDonald's.
priority
Let her.
too.
I just I don't know the point of community food, even though it's private community food.
Oh my God, this is why I love going to the airport. This is why I have no problem being there 2 hours early. I
Just
get to
to
sit
eat
down.
buffet food.
Oh my God, just to relax. I can plug in my phone, get
Their lounge is nice.
the
Delta-
lounges are nice. You
Yeah,
can have a
but-
private area to yourself if you want. You can sit amongst people. You can grab a drink at the bar. You can sit
The
outside.
food's garbage.
Some of it, but some of it's decent. You got a nice coffee machine.
Sure. You have a coffee machine.
Would you rather have a $20 muffin from Earth Cafe?
So true.
He made me get a turkey sub from Jersey Mike's at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Like
Would you
we
rather
can't do
fight for
that.
your life in the line of Panda Express?
No, I fought for my life in the bathroom later on that day.
Exactly.
Where
So
they have
be grateful.
Private bathrooms in the lounge that go from the ceiling to the floor.
Some of us have only ever heard of the Delta
What
Lounge.
else?
Okay.
I've only ever seen the sign on the outside.
Mary, it's nothing special.
I don't believe that until I see it with my own
I'll
two
take
eyes.
you.
Oh, it's something special, and I would love to show you that experience.
What else
I
can
think
let
I
you
would
do?
love it. I love free things.
I thought you were going to complain about my phone being on Do Not Disturb.
Oh my God, yes. That's another thing. So he's gone.
Uh-huh.
He's gone in New York. I'm home alone with our 1-year-old, who is in all that toddler stage. She is mischievous and she is naughty and she is very fun, but she's a lot.
Yeah.
And Nick's just dilly-dallying in New York City, like getting coffee here, getting lunch here, shopping here. And like, I'm home fighting for my life. And I text him,
I was getting our daughter clothes.
hubby, Hart, has his notifications silenced. I'm like, the fuck? Notify anyway. Notify. Then I go to call him immediately to voicemail. I'm like,
I
the
didn't
fact
know
that
it
I
was
have
on-
to call you twice
I
and
didn't know.
notify my text messages when I'm home alone with your baby is crazy.
I didn't know. I didn't know my phone.
Like, if
puts it
I were
on Do
getting
Not-
murdered, I'd be like, hold on 1 second. I have to call him one more time because it's on Do Not Disturb. And that's bizarre.
Nick, your phone has been on Do Not Disturb for months.
I
Just
never
so you
put it
know.
on
If
there.
not a year.
you just did.
Well, I just turned it off. Fine.
It's a laptop. His laptop's on Do Not Disturb and it's
Thank you,
broken.
Justin.
But like, this
My
is
laptop's fixed now.
so you can turn it off.
I guess.
Turn it off.
So,
you
yeah,
have
this
a
is just
favorites
your
list?
choice.
What do you mean?
Do you add contacts
Oh.
to your favorites?
And ask who's on it. Not his wife.
Well, because I was going to say that typically.
My favorite. Yes, I have a favorites list. It hasn't been updated since 2012.
It's like his parents and all of his buddies. Nowhere is his wife.
Red flag.
literally
The people,
people
that
from
aren't
like
calling you.
12
can
years
get
ago.
through.
Literally.
Is that what happened? If you're on a favorites list, you're not.
I'm-
You get bumped.
I'm pretty sure that like you get like almost like get to skip the do not disturb, or like if you call them, their calls will go through
Yeah.
on your favorites list.
You can also call twice and it goes through the Do Not Disturb.
Right, yes, I had to call twice every time I wanted to reach him, which felt insane since I was.
I got a
It is
scolding.
insane.
And then he
I
texted
bet.
me. Then he felt the need to be like, "Can you have lunch ready by the time I get home from the airport?" I'm like,
Oh no.
Ooh.
I mean, then I'm like, well, we have like the mobile dog groomers coming to like groom the dogs out front. I'm like, I can't leave the house.
I always.
And then I'm like, can you pick up? And then he goes, oh, so now I have errands? Like, I asked for lunch to be ready, but I have errands instead. And I said, don't you fucking dare. I'm not the one. Insane for you to complain. And he said, on my way.
That's kind of like this wife.
I love it.
Did you hear about the wife that returned home from surgery to a
This
complaint
is
from her
so
husband?
Me coded. It is
Yeah.
so me.
Would you guys like to hear about it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, this woman comes home from gallbladder surgery, very excited to rest and relax in her own home with her family. Very soon after laying down on the couch, her husband brought up a frustration he had with her
God
once
forbid.
again, right after she got home from surgery.
What was the frustration?
Okay.
Basically, he expressed that he wants her to stop putting his athletic shirts in the dryer, something he had asked her to do before.
How many
She-
times did he ask her?
I
It
don't
doesn't matter.
I
She
don't
just got
know.
home from surgery.
She was frustrated that this was the time he decided to bring it up to her instead of checking in and asking if she needed anything after the surgery. She told him to do his own laundry from now on if he
Yep.
doesn't like the way she does it.
The amount of times that Nick has complained about something that I've like put in his suitcase because I'll pack the family's luggage.
She packs your suitcase for you?
Oh, do we need to have a list of all the things I do?
I mean,
Oh, he doesn't get the remote at night.
he doesn't get the water. He doesn't do the nightly errands, and he doesn't pack for himself.
How are
No,
those
and he'll be
flowers?
like, why did you pack me this? What the hell? Like, where's my? You only packed me t-shirts and shorts. Like,
No.
you know, I hate
No.
shorts.
All right. Well,
And I'll be
you
like,
want to get
I
into that
will
story? You
never
want to get into that
pack for
story?
you again.
One time. That's the first time Natalie packed me, and she's referring to this one particular time where I didn't let up because where did we go? I forget.
Was it our honeymoon?
Were shorts
Yes,
appropriate?
it was our
Okay.
honeymoon.
We're on
I was
the
our
beach.
honeymoon. She was like, "I'm going to pack for you. I love my love. I'm going to pack for you.
Yes,
I
that's what I
got
said.
you.
Mm-hmm. Acts of service.
Acts of service." Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And she looked beautiful, by the way. My wife on our honeymoon looked stunning. She had a variety of outfits and selections.
I see where this is going.
I had a pair of pants and maybe 2 shirts.
Sorry, I didn't know he wanted all these jeans in Puerto Rico.
I was like, 'cause
Sorry?
I was like, you packed for me? Like, she packed me like 3 items.
What was in the rest of the suitcase?
Great question. More of her stuff.
Okay. Well, she does have the photos and the, needs to look nice and the dinners and
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways.
I love you.
I love you too. How were your flowers?
They were absolutely beautiful. He did send me some flowers and said, miss you.
you love flowers.
I do love flowers. Well, Nick is he's really good about flowers. Like, and I know it's because he has the florist on speed dial and he'll just, the florist will text him being like, hey buddy, it's St. Patrick's Day. You want to send some flowers? And Nick's like, yeah, sure. Happy St. Patty's Day. Love, Nick.
Do they really remind you?
No.
He did on Valentine's Day because I accidentally read the text.
I sent her. No. What happened was I sent her flowers just because.
Uh-huh. That's sweet.
I was thinking about it. About $12,000 a year on my wife for flowers.
Bougie
God.
flowers. Does it come with the
Nice
vase?
flowers.
It does.
Those vases are nice. I have.
But also,
Ooh.
I have now, because is so gracious with his flowers, I have nowhere to put these vases. And I'm like, I can't just throw these away. Like, these are such nice. So
I sent him just cause. And anyways, it was a week and a half away for Valentine's Day. And he was like, hey, we're getting busy for Valentine's Day. Would you like to get on the sketch? And I was like, sure. Totes.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks.
For sure.
Make them big, make them nice.
That was the one time he gave me a little heads
Oh.
up. And then I was out
And
of
of
time.
course she saw it.
I did get a cost at the wedding though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm.
How was that?
Wedding was tons of fun, wonderful. It was I really obviously since our wedding, which we loved, and it was like the best wedding ever, but because it was ours, so
Right.
biased, of course. But this was in New York. It was at this beautiful Chinese restaurant. It was my first Jewish wedding, which was a lot of fun. The culture of the community, so much fun, like just great. It was at this beautiful Chinese restaurant. And what I loved about it is because like if I were to have one, our wedding was great, but like, and I think the food was fine. We had
Boiled peanuts, mac and cheese.
Yeah, it was
that was at our welcome party.
yeah, that was
okay.
but like the food was fine. I don't know if
Boiled
anyone
peanuts.
was like talking about the food
Well,
when we got done.
just to interrupt for a second, we do like whenever Nick and I were starting the wedding planning process, we were like, food has to be like, we wanted food trucks, but we didn't want people to wait in line for the food trucks. We wanted it to be served hot. We wanted it to be this. And then we were like, we are doing way too much. No one like gives a fuck. They're just gonna like eat what they want.
People
no one
were
remembers the
full,
food.
but like I don't think the food was like you remember the
Groundbreaking.
food from this wedding in the best possible way. It was like at a Chinese, it was like an amazing Chinese food restaurant. And it was like, it was like, I don't know, like 100, 125 people. It wasn't like a huge wedding, but it was big enough. And it was like in this like big dining room, but it felt really intimate. It was like a big intimate dinner with a huge family and friends having just amazing food and like, great speeches and things like that. And then we danced. So it was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, then someone came up, absolutely hammered, and stumbled up to me, said that they were a journalist and that this was off the record, and then started asking me a bunch of divisive questions, which really made me feel uncomfortable.
Yikes.
How'd you get out of it?
I was like, I don't think this is any of your business. And then to which she took offense. And then her friend kind of butted in and apologized for her and said, hurt people, and she's going through it right now.
Okay.
Sometimes weddings bring the worst out in people.
There was that. But I
Yeah.
did get to talk parenting with Daniel Radcliffe.
That's pretty cool.
That was a lot of fun. He was also a guest at the wedding. Lovely man who also has a young child at home. So we got to talk about parenting, which was a lot of fun.
Cute.
So really cool. We do have a great episode lined up for you today and this week. We have a very explosive, very dramatic, very incredible going deeper episode this week with the one and only Bella Thorne is with us from not talking much about all her drama in her life. Well, she's here this Wednesday and she really opens up, and with a lot of drama in her life going on, she kind of took a back seat and now she's here to talk about all the things going on in her life. So it's a really fantastic episode. She really opens up and speaks to just all the controversy that she's been going through. So she is with us on Wednesday. You will definitely not want to miss that episode. Also, we have at the end of our episode the wonderful and endearing Martin Kove. You know him from the hit series Cobra Kai. They're in their last season on Netflix, also from the Karate Kid movies. A legend, a legendary 80s villain, and now a more complex character on Cobra Kai. But he is with us, has some great stories, and can't wait for you guys to listen to that as well. Later today, we have Alex went home on The Bachelor. Mrs. First Impression Rose, Miss First One-on-One. I really thought she was going to be top 3 or 4. Now I didn't think so.
Listen, I would like someone to replay the tape of me saying that it's going to be Latia and Juliana.
Yep.
at the end.
You did say
Mhm.
that.
I thought
Thank you.
Juliana for sure and Carolina. So I was very wrong on Carolina, but I was also right on her being the drama. So I'll take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Then we also, before her, we have Venita from Southern Charm is with us to talk about all those shenanigans going on in the Bahamas. That was a brutal episode for Shep.
Oh my god.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Do you think he's just taking one for the team?
No,
No, I think he's
I think
in
he's
Delulu
delusion.
land.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we've all been there.
You know,
You know,
that text message that was sent. I mean, I
not
think
in
we've-
the Bahamas.
That text message, he deserves to go to prison. Because
Yeah.
in
But I'm
love.
like, even
I
if
would-
you're like
I would
16,
agree.
14, 30, 40, whatever, I feel like and in one
if
point
I
in your life,
ever received that.
but have you ever sent a message?
Absolutely fucking not.
Oh my God.
the
I
freckles
ever-
on your lips.
Well, yeah, like it's too far, but I'm just saying like that text message of like, oh, I'm divulging all of my feelings in hopes that this will win you over. And it's like, oh my God, no, they were never on the same page, same channel, same show.
Ending anything with "Thank you for listening to my TED Talk." Jail.
Yes.
Also,
jail.
for sure, don't tell me how I feel.
Nope.
I know that you love me. Like,
I
No.
kind of feel for Shep. I do. I think he's just he's a grown man with a little, little boy mentality.
he's like
I
44.
think this is the type of text you're supposed to send at like 21.
Exactly. Maybe 14.
And then either your girlfriends or guy friends, after you kind of open up and like spill your guts and emotions in a way that you should just never have. They're like, ugh,
Yeah.
don't do that anymore. But like the fact that like Shep is 44,
Uh-huh.
and this is the time of his life where he's finally like being crushed by someone emotionally, and he sends the text like this is.
Like, don't make me feel like I'm seeing eye to eye with Austin. Like, Austin was one of my favorites this episode. And I was like, how is it happening?
Why? Just because he
Yeah.
was
Just
calling
giving
it a friend?
just being real, like not sugarcoating it and being like, nah, man, like maybe she'll get something. He was like, you shouldn't have sent that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Well,
he was,
maybe Venita will let us know if she was fake drowning.
yeah, that I do have some questions. Or like,
Yeah.
what about JT?
Or
Were
this
you
fake
attracted to?
Or is it even real?
You know, let's ask her.
We'll find out.
Can we talk about the Erewhon $20 strawberry, not in plural?
Yeah.
Singular strawberry.
So Erewhon just like started selling these, and let me
Well, for
read
the people
you.
who don't know about bougie Erewhon,
Yes.
because most people aren't live. Is Erewhon only in
Yes.
California? Los
I think it's
Angeles?
also in New York, isn't it?
No.
Oh well.
Only in LA.
Basically, Erewhon is like bougier than a Whole Foods, a Nugget. Expensive.
Yes, it's a grocery store. They have like
Exotic
a hot
stuff.
bar where you could like get lunch, or there's got like all kinds of foods. They have a smoothie bar. A lot of celebrities do like
Yeah.
smoothie collabs with Erewhon.
It's where like hot people who can't cook go to eat healthy food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I've
Mm.
seen a lot of influencers be like Thanksgiving, and it'll be just a bunch of like Erewhon hot bar food.
Yeah, but
So-
for the price tag, add a zero onto everything.
No, it's crazy.
Everything is organic, or everything is made out of something you didn't know could make that substance, like
Yeah.
pistachio flour.
So basically, they're selling singular strawberries from Kyoto, Japan for $19 each, and this is the blurb for the strawberries. Our strawberries redefine sweetness and beauty. Each berry is cultivated to achieve perfect symmetry, brilliant color, and exceptional size, whether choosing our Tochiaka or rare white jewel varieties, except an explosion of flavor that elevates the ordinary strawberry to extraordinary heights. And basically what they're saying is organic strawberries are rare, accounting for only 0.002% of Japan's total strawberry harvest. So this is like a rare...
So then why are we stealing them from Japan? Like if I will be the only time I'm buying a $20 one strawberry is if I am in Japan. Like the fact that we are like
Importing
shipping them
it.
here,
I was gonna say,
selling them at Erewhon, like
No, this
it
is
kind of
bad press
loses the
for
charm.
LA. This is bad press for LA. Like we're fresh off the California fires, where obviously there's a lot of people in need in LA. Obviously, we know that LA is a city that does have a lot of money, for some people, not a lot of people in the city. And the fact that like it's making news that there's a grocery store in LA selling $20 strawberries and they're flying off the shelves is a bad look for us. I'm just saying.
Well, people are saying like this is proof that Erewhon is a social experiment, because it's like you could just like make something super expensive for
Mhm.
something so cheap, and like people are gonna buy it.
They had a cluster of ice cubes for $18.
The balls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean a
Mhm.
cluster of ice cubes?
What if
Like
I
a-
walked into
They were
the
like
ocean?
martini balls
Yeah.
of ice.
like the whiskey round spheres of ice. That's
Literally frozen water was $18.
I
Yes.
hate everyone.
Well,
It's
it's
the
also like
craziest
for
thing.
one single strawberry, and then I'm like, what that says to me is that probably if you go to Japan, it's probably like $1, and that was all just like shipping and getting the like single-use plastic that's like
Maybe
wrapped
not
around
even that.
it.
I mean,
I think to buy a $20 strawberry is loser behavior.
I kind of want to do it though. Like I want to try. Like, what if we bought it for the team and we all had a nibble?
I bet it tastes like a
We would get one.
strawberry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what? I wonder if Speaking of social experiments, so there's this influencer podcaster. Her name's Avery Woods, and she's been like under fire recently because she did a whole episode saying some like controversial things. She like said something about like Jesus Christ, like doing stuff to women to get into heaven or something. I don't know. It was very crazy. She also said that like she had C-section, so therefore her vagina is like pristine. So basically like shaming all women who have ever had a vaginal birth, which is crazy because she is like a mommy vlogger. So that's like pretty much her entire audience of women.
I mean, assuming she was telling a joke that didn't land, or was she being serious?
I mean, it wasn't in joke form. I think it was her being like, well, I had a C-section, so like I'm pristine down there.
Oh yeah.
Like that was, I think, the way the way she delivered it. And
what's the opposite of pristine for all the ladies who didn't?
Yeah, it's like, what are you saying about my vagina? And like, how do you know what my vagina looks like?
You know?
I don't know. So it was a little, it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, as it should have. And she's now come out and given an apology and has said that the entire episode was scripted.
Of the podcast episode. Do you think she's lying?
It's like Joe Coy at the Golden Globes throwing writers under the bus for what?
Literally. It's like, well, I mean, have
they ever scripted a podcast? Is their entire show scripted?
They're scripted podcasts.
No, I know. But I'm saying...
Oh, the specific...
That'd be like if one day we were like, that one episode, you know, where we said that thing that pissed you guys off. That was so scripted.
Mary
that was literally written by Mary.
Mary wrote that.
Yeah. People would buy that, I bet.
She's taking a leave.
It is just it's like, I just feel like that's, I guess podcasts are scripted. I just can't, in my mind, I like cannot imagine us like sitting down on like a Tuesday afternoon and writing Wednesday's episode and like writing in being like, I had a C-section, so my vagina is pristine. Okay.
And then I will say this. Like, that's what I'm saying.
She's probably
that's
lying.
Full on production.
Did she release like proof?
Not to my knowledge. It was just her like crying, being like, I'm sorry, the producers, it was a scripted episode, like,
oh my God.
Mic drop.
Right. Okay.
But she is on Unwell's network, and people said that like Alex and Sophia of Call Her Daddy used to like script all they've like admitted to being like, yeah, we used to script some episodes. So people are like,
I think there's a difference between like writing a joke or two or like coming up with a story that like Call Her Daddy with, like, you know, when they were talking about the fucking Gluck Gluck 3000 or whatever. Yeah, I think they definitely talked about some of their anecdotes or whatever, but that's not the same as like a scripted whole episode.
But do you think blaming like non-landing jokes on it being scripted is a cop-out?
Yeah,
yes.
Because like if anyone on this team wrote a joke and I said it, and then I first of all read the joke, said, oh, that's funny, I'll say that, and then delivered said joke, then there's the whole opportunity for us to like listen as a group to the joke, and then we, you know, edit the episodes, and someone's like, everyone listens to that joke, and everyone's like, you know, did it land? You know, there's several, even for our very like very simple process over here at the Viall Files, like it's scripted or not. I mean, I don't know.
You still said it.
You still said it.
So whether it came off the top of your head or you approved it and then said it and memorized it and all of the things, like you still take ownership on the fact that you said it.
Say it, forget it, write it, regret it. Dorinda Medley.
I mean, you know, she said something that was kind of slightly like pissed people off. I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, like, you know.
I think it's just like obviously very telling when like you're I mean, she's just like coming for her whole audience. It's like
religion, vaginas.
Yeah, it's like you're a mommy blogger, and to then like, or mommy, is that what they're called nowadays? Mommy influencer? Mommy blogger? I don't know.
I think they all apply.
It's an interesting choice, yeah. I mean, listen, it's tough. Like, everyone wants to be a comic. Everyone wants to tell a joke. There's a lot of conversations about comedy being dead and things like that. And like, you know, like.
Which I can totally, like, I can see that, like, frustration with comedians. But, like, I don't understand how any of, like, saying like any of that was funny.
But that's the thing between
you
like,
can say anything if it lands
or not. But the thing is this like, I don't know who this person is, but like she's not and this is not meant to be a criticism, but like my understanding, she's not a professional comedian, right? When we have Nikki Glazer on, we've had her on for a couple times, and every time Nikki Glazer has come on, she says multiple things that piss off this audience. And you know what Nikki thinks? Not a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't give a fuck. She's a professional comedian. So when she goes on stage and tells her jokes and does roasts, she does say things all the time that rub people the wrong way. She doesn't issue apologies. You know, she is a comedian. She just like allows people to like consume her art and have an opinion. And when non-comedians go on a platform and try to tell jokes and they don't land, I don't think, if you're going to tell a joke, own it. Own the joke and lean in. Don't apologize, or apologize and stop telling jokes. But you know what I'm saying? Like you don't
or blame
don't split
other
the,
people
split
for
the
joke.
difference and be like, well, I told that joke, it's not my joke, and I'm not a comedian, but so don't tell jokes, or tell the jokes and like say I was joking and like don't fucking apologize. Because you know what I've learned in 2025? Not a single apology has ever landed ever with anyone that you're apologizing to. They don't give a fuck about your apology. They just want to make you pay more. So don't even say you're sorry. If you actually hurt a person with your actions, not like the internet, fine, you should probably apologize for it. Like you don't apologize to the internet. The internet doesn't give a fuck.
The internet, it's the same thing that I've said before about like the internet doesn't care about the truth. Like they only care about the fun, like crazy narrative that whatever person is spinning. They don't ever care about the truth. So yeah, it's like to like correct someone or to apologize. It's never going to land and it's never going to go as viral as the initial story did. And it's people are never going to forgive you or give a fuck.
Yeah. Comedians don't apologize. They tell their jokes. They move on. They do their thing,
What were we talking about before we started about someone?
Sienna.
So on Southern Charm, obviously, we have Sienna and Shep, a very uncomfortable relationship to watch.
It's really great.
To say the
Can we
least.
call it a relationship?
It's very uncomfortable that we can call it uncomfortable.
Shep's the Lululand
cringy,
girl.
bad.
Situationship.
But it's like what we thought, like his girlfriend before they ended up in the Bahamas. And now we see that it is very clearly one-sided. But she has now taken to social media, of course. She's gone to TikTok and been like, hey, everyone, do y'all care? Like, I'll do a series on like my time on the show and what it was supposed to be. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, give us the tea. She was like, okay, I'll do a TikTok live. And then she posted another one being like, so no one wanted me to do a TikTok live. So I guess I'll just do like a couple series, starting with how she met Shep, all of that.
Are these like TikTok? These are TikToks?
These are TikToks. Yeah. And she said a whole lot of nothing for 7 parts.
Could have been just one 10-minute TikTok.
It honestly could have been nothing because she really didn't say anything that like was news to me.
100%.
What did she say?
She said that she met Shep on Raya, which we knew.
Okay.
She said that she also met Whitney on Raya, which we also knew. She did show a screenshot of her and Whitney's conversation she goes, I won't say the platform of which I took this screenshot because you can't take screenshots on Raya. So she was like, I won't say the name. She like shows up like she likes using her phone on another phone to like show the proof. It was I'm sure she's going to get kicked off Raya after this. But so she said that basically all Whitney ever said to her was like, how are you doing? And she said, I'm good. How are you? And he never responded.
Didn't Sierra say something like she accused him of being a catfish or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said that he looked very different in person than he did on his Raya profile.
But didn't she say her mom was like the biggest Southern Charm fan ever?
Her
Or
grandma.
Her grandmother.
But she doesn't know who Whitney is?
I don't know if she's never sat down and watched an episode with her
I
grandma.
mean, little embarrassing for Whitney to like have a photo that's 10 years old on his dating account, but like.
Well, also Whitney was drunk on on the last episode saying that like she matched with him first when it actually came out that like he direct messaged her. They were never a match. So he pursued her for it to go nowhere.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, not surprising. I'm just saying that's not really a catfish.
But his picture didn't match the person.
If he used a picture from 10 years ago and he's aged faster in 10
Yeah.
years.
It's not a
then-
catfish.
I feel like I'm catfishing when my hair's bleached in any of like my Hinge like
Well,
pictures.
but again, it's not catfishing. Catfishing is when you're pretending to be someone else, like showing
It's a
picture.
form.
No, it's just
If it's not what you look like currently today,
that's just you being really insecure
Yeah,
and
but
delusional.
at the same
That's
time,
not
if you're wondering why it doesn't work out, it's because you don't look like your pictures.
Yeah.
fine, but you're
It's
it's like
catfishing.
gaslighting. No, it's not. But okay. Catfishing is pretending to be someone you're not.
But it also is using a photo
that is not what you look like currently
right
today.
now. If you gained 200 pounds and you used a photo of yourself at like
100 pounds
in college,
It's not
like that's
catfishing.
catfishing.
No, it's
Oh
not.
my God.
Nick,
It's definitely
are you the
catfish.
same person you were 10 years ago?
If you post a picture without a beard and then someone sees you with a beard and they're like, oh my God, that's literally not the same person.
Yeah, I understand it's misleading. That's not. I'm just saying it's not catfishing. It's just.
Oh my
it's
gosh, she's
people
very like,
changing.
its definition.
It can't
It has to
definition.
be, Webster's Dictionary and Nick's
Yeah,
brain
you're right.
or
Your words don't
nothing.
have meaning anymore. They're
What do you
just
think
like
Mike
this-
White thinks about this catfishing situation? Because he did model the Southern family in White Lotus after Southern Charm characters.
Oh, did he?
He
Yeah.
did. The
Yeah,
youngest
yeah.
son in that family said, Mike told us to go watch Southern Charm. In fact, Jason Isaacs, who plays the dad, modeled his whole accent after
Thomas Ravenel,
Thomas Ravenel.
disgraced
Oh.
congressman,
Yep.
who literally just dropped out of the race for governor of South Carolina. Granted, the same week that he submitted himself, he took himself
Do
out.
we have that guy's voice?
Thomas
We
Ravenel.
can find it.
It's just a
It's an
very
old
I usually
Charleston
am
accent.
very
Charleston accent.
like strict on country accents, Southern accents, but honestly, his was very good.
it like sends a chill up my
Yeah.
spine of like making me feel like
Some of the
I'm-
ones in like
in
Landman are
school
not very
again.
good, and it kind
This
of
guy, this congressman
hard
was on
to-
Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
he was in.
He was in the
Southern
first
Charm.
like 5 seasons of Southern Charm.
Oh.
Oh my god, the mannerisms are so similar too.
I don't think so. I just think that, again, I've said this innumerable times, the age difference is so
It's
great
crazy.
that, it's like my preacher told me, and he's very...
You have a preacher, T-Rav?
Yeah, I do, yeah. And he
been on the show.
was a sex therapist because he said, look,
Okay. Wow. Well, pretty good accent.
Isn't
He-
it?
He really did model it.
And the fact that Jason Isaacs is like
A Bravo girly?
a Bravo girlie, but also like he is Shakespearean British.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
he's
Brit-
able
He's from England.
Yeah, he
The
plays
dad?
the dad
Lucius Malfoy.
Lucius Malfoy in
In
Harry
Harry Potter?
Potter.
he was also in the Mel Gibson's The Patriot
Mhm.
as a British soldier.
He's
He was
like-
the bad guy.
British.
See, like that. That's an amazing actor that you're able to like switch your accents like that. I mean, like I was just saying, there's in Landman, it's kind of hard to listen to, and maybe like Texan accents are different than like Alabama, Georgia accents. I don't know. I mean, obviously that's what I'm used to, but that's hard to listen to. And like,
Mhm.
and these people on White Lotus, this family, even the mom, like,
Yeah.
they
Oh.
all crushed that Southern accent.
Parker Posey, like the SEC family of it all, just like sends me.
Truly.
I'm like, I know these people so well,
Yeah.
and I am like
Patrick
re-traumatized.
Schwarzenegger crushes. It's honestly,
Yeah.
that's very well casted.
Yeah.
White
It's
Lotus.
really good.
Did you see Rachel's Brawny commercial?
Do you think Matt James saw it? You think he's off the grid?
I think he's off the grid. Yeah.
But he's not off the grid enough to not post.
Do you
on
think
social
Craig's
media.
gonna get some kind of commercial?
I don't know. I mean, Ariana Madix got the Duracell and the battery
no, like
and trash
Rachel.
bags or
Rachel's
something?
getting Scandival treatment.
Yeah.
After Matt James.
Paige is always going to be booked and busy.
Yeah.
Like, she will.
Yeah.
That will never change in Paige's life, no matter what happens. Like she will always be booked and busy. But I don't know if he will.
Probably not.
Probably
is
not.
My guess.
Probably
you
not.
know.
I mean, she did a ad with Brawny, the like paper towel brand. Says she's like cooking from home now because she doesn't have to pick out the perfect dinner spot anymore because obviously they were like
Food
foodie influencers and we're going to all these restaurants together, and she has someone she can always depend on when life gets messy. And then she introduces like Brawny mascot.
great
and he, like,
commercial.
it was a really great ad.
The Brawny guy is hot.
What would Craig's commercial be?
Did they have
Chickens.
any like obviously they had
The
to like going
farm?
out. Ariana
Yeah.
and Tom Sandoval she was like, I picked up all the fucking groceries and batteries for you. Like that worked for her.
He likes bees. He can do like a honey commercial.
Honeycombs.
Like now I'm no longer sharing my bees. I can just I don't know.
Don't like female queen bees.
Corona commercial. He's sitting on a beach because he doesn't have to go to the city anymore.
There we go.
With Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
There you go. Pretty good.
hmm
I don't think he's gonna get one.
No. But he does have a successful pillow company with 2 storefronts, and he does just opened up a successful bar.
Everyone will be fine, yeah.
Oh, Liam Meester is
Yes. Nobody Wants This Season 2 cast Leighton Meester, Adam's wife, in the upcoming season, and I think everyone's really excited about it.
Cute.
It's really exciting. I saw their little bit at what was the award show?
SAG Awards last
The
night.
SAG Awards last night, where obviously we have Kristen Bell, who is voice of Gossip Girl,
Mhm.
and then obviously Leighton Meester, who plays
Blair
Waldorf.
Wait.
Waldorf.
wait.
Kristen Bell was
You didn't know
the
this?
narrator of
XOXO,
Gossip Girl.
Gossip
Really?
Girl.
So she, anytime
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, you
reading
didn't know
out
that?
Isn't that
a
crazy?
spotted,
I didn't
that was
know.
her.
Yeah,
XOXO.
So
Gossip Girl.
Last night at the SAG Awards, they did a
they
bit.
did a bit, and it was honestly like so cute to see them back
No,
to
I'm
see like
so
that duo. So
excited.
I'm really excited to have them, and obviously to have Jackie Tone back on our television will be very nice.
When is season 2 supposed to come out? Are they filming right now?
They're doing like table reads and stuff now,
Oh,
so
it's not
I'm
even
sure it'll be
filming.
it's
gonna
be
be
a
or
while.
a whole year.
Jackie said it would be like spring, summer, I think, when she was on the show.
That's crazy.
I love that a show called Nobody Wants This when it's like everybody wants this.
It's kind of a perfect name for a
It
show.
truly is.
Because you're only setting yourself up to like defy expectations.
Yeah.
Did you see that Ashley Darby, the Potomac housewife, hard launched her divorce?
This is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Like, she's been teasing this divorce for so long, and
It's
then
a
finally,
the concept of hard launching your divorce after teasing
is
it. First off,
Oh wow, she really did
hard
a
launch.
whole photo shoot.
Hard launch.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Monica Garcia when she did her like burn book photo shoot or whatever the
and
hell.
Monica did it first.
And
Yeah.
she like did her
I'm here for it.
Do you think they actually put words all in that stuff? Or do
Oh,
you
no,
think
you-
they're all
No, it's a
just,
stock
like,
photo.
random?
How
You can see
horribly
the-
photoshopped it is.
That's
Oh, the
Canva.
top,
Look
yeah.
at, look at
That's
it,
not
look
even
at it
Photoshop.
officially.
That's Canva.
Look at officially and how it goes
Yeah.
off the page.
Yeah.
Gotta respect Ashley. She's a hustler.
She
But-
is.
By all means, celebrate it if you're happy about it.
I guess you see that Corey Bierman and
Kim Solsak?
yes,
Thank
they
you.
are
Solskjaer.
divorced again.
I've had to check out of that whole. Every week is a new headline of
Aren't they
selling.
like always calling the cops on each
The
other?
police are always called.
She was selling her Christmas trees that are worth like thousands of dollars the other day. Like, there's always something weird going on.
new body cam footage.
I'm pretty sure the house just went into foreclosure. Like, she moved out and stuff, but who
Yeah.
knows?
I just wish she'd quit playing and just come back to Atlanta.
When does the
Housewives.
new season start?
March 9th?
We'll be covering that. I just got fed a clip from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it's when Phaedra was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
And
it's
they were all
Sheree.
like, when are you due? And she was like, I don't know, sometime in July. I think I'm just going to have this baby right now. And they were like, but aren't you 5 months?
It's
and she's like,
Sheree
yeah.
being-
And they were like, you
yeah.
can't have a baby at 5 months. She's like, the doctor said I could. They're all like,
That's
fine.
not how that works.
But also just the table of like Sheree and the woman being like, so she must be lying about this. And it's like, what purpose does she have lying about her baby coming?
Oh,
It'll
OG
be fun to
Atlanta.
cover
it's
Atlanta.
so good.
All right. Well, up next we have Venita from Southern Charm. Let's find out if she was actually drowning.
There's nothing worse than waking up on a beautiful, sunny day and finding an unexpected breakout or feeling like new signs of aging are showing up on your face. Trying to find a great dermatologist is already a feat of its own, let alone finding time to make an appointment. That's where Apostrophe comes in.
Feeling confident in your skin starts with getting expert care, whether you're dealing with acne, signs of aging, or dark spots. Apostrophe helps you get access to the right treatment for your skin. We know how difficult and challenging it can be to book an appointment with a great dermatologist or even any dermatologist. You're always waiting weeks in advance. Not with Apostrophe.
Apostrophe is an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get customized acne and dermatology treatment for your unique skin. Through Apostrophe, you can get access to oral and topical medications that use clinically proven ingredients to help clear acne. Simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history, then snap a few selfies, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you. Apostrophe offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne, from hormonal acne to facial acne, even back, chest, and butt acne. You can treat breakouts from head to toe. And one of the best parts is that you don't have to make an in-person appointment. You know, it's hard to get out of the house these days, and you don't have to go to the pharmacy. The pharmacy always takes forever, and Apostrophe just sends everything right to you.
We have a special deal for our audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/VIALL when you use our code VIALL. That's a savings of $15. This code is only available for our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/VIALL and click to get started. Then use our code VIALL at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode.
As a parent, Branch Basics gives us peace of mind that we're creating a safe environment for our family. Branch Basics understands that your home should be a place of health, not hidden harm, starting with your cleaning products that we use. We started with their premium starter kit as an ultimate solution for saying goodbye to toxins and embracing human-safe cleaning products. The truth is, many conventional cleaning products are filled with harmful chemicals that silently compromise your health. These products can irritate your skin, disrupt your hormones, and even pollute the air inside of your home, creating an environment that's anything but clean. Branch Basics is here to help you make the switch. Their premium starter kit includes one powerful concentrate that replaces dozens of toxic cleaners, making it easier than ever to detox your home, from scrubbing counters and washing laundry to cleaning your bathroom and even rinsing produce. This plant and mineral-based formula does it all without harsh chemicals. It's free from fragrances, parabens, endocrine disruptors, and synthetic preservatives, so you can trust it's safe for babies, pets, and anyone with sensitivities.
Switching to Branch Basics isn't about cleaning, it's about creating a healthier home, making 2025 the year you toss the toxins and start fresh with Branch Basics. Their premium starter kit is your first step toward a cleaner, safer, and healthier home. Say goodbye to harmful chemicals and hello to peace of mind with Branch Basics. Make this year the year you say goodbye to toxic products. Right now, our listeners get 15% off their premium starter pack kit using our code VIALL at branchbasics.com. That's 15% off your order at branchbasics.com with promo code VIALL. Make 2025 your cleanest, healthiest year yet with Branch Basics.
Venita.
Hi, Venita. How are you?
How are you?
So good. What a beautiful background you got there.
And you look absolutely stunning too, by the way.
Thank you. I'm in my kitchen right now. I figured this would be the quiet space that I have.
So colorful.
Well, let's just get right into it. First question is, was that a real drowning situation where Craig had to save you, or was that a stage scene? Because the people are, kind of up in arms. It felt like a little staged, and you're smiling.
Yeah. A lot of people do crazy shit for reality TV. I'm not one of them. I was actually drowning.
Oh, shit. Unfortunately.
We are glad you're okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Like, I, in fact, had water in my lungs.
Yeah, and I'm smiling because, it's comical, the things that people have the audacity to say about what we do on TV. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she's drowning for a storyline. You think I would risk my life that my mother spent 32 years raising me with for a TV show? Like, absolutely not.
Well, I think you were real fake drowning, but fake drowning. Maybe just you never fake drowned as a kid, just wailing your arms.
Nick just needed attention. He had 10 siblings. So Nick was like, I'm drowning. Someone save me.
Maybe that was it. What attracted you to JT in the first place? I think a lot of people are curious.
Yeah, his personality. He's a really good stand-up guy. And I think that the version of himself that he puts on for TV is the completely different person that I get behind closed doors.
When you're watching the show back, are you seeing the contrast between the person that you have a personal relationship versus what we're seeing as viewers? And what do you say to him if he asks you about it?
I don't know. It was kind of hard to go because this was the first year that we really kind of put our friendship out there for the cameras, you know what I mean? And so I haven't really been able to address him about that because we're, not good.
Right.
So
did he do something to you that were you guys in any type of exclusive relationship? Did he cheat on you? What happened?
No, we weren't ever in any exclusive relationship. We were dating.
What does that mean? I'm curious. I only just in 2025 terms, I know some people say dating, something not exclusive, but what does dating but not exclusive mean to you?
Oh, so we were just figuring out, because we came to this crossroad of okay, do we actually like each other, or do we like each other because we work together? How you have those
Sure.
work relationships. You're oh, that person's hot, but then when you're not working anymore, you're oh, ew, what was I thinking?
Right.
So we would go out almost every night to dinner. We would do lunch. We would do work meetings together, and really shoot the shit. And we did that almost every day for about two months.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Were you guys also hooking up?
No, and everyone keeps asking me that, and no, sorry.
No, I'm just, yeah, there's no apology needed. I just, when you're dating, sometimes you are, sometimes you're not,
Right.
so I just
really set that boundary right away. We're just going to date like normal people, see if we like each other, nothing physical, none of that. And see okay, is it more than just oh, I think you're cute, you think I'm cute? Do we actually really deep down like each other?
Gotcha.
And we dated for I guess 2 months, and then the super teaser drops, and this woman decides to annihilate me on social media that he was dating that I was unaware of, and basically calls me out of my name. And I was just hey, I don't know what's going on with this, I need you to put a handle on it. And he was I can't do anything about it. And then I was just okay, I need to take a step back from this because you're going to let me get annihilated by.
Why couldn't he do anything about it? Was this woman real? Was he in fact dating her?
Yes, no, she was real.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was in fact dating her. And he was there's nothing I can do about this. And I was just that was my first red flag of okay, I have to take a step back from this. I need a moment. And I took a step back, and me taking a step back lasted for about a week. He texted me the night of my best friend's wedding. I didn't text back because I was at the wedding, and I went to text him back the next day. And before I could even do that, he posted that he was in a relationship with this girl and that it was complicated. And I'm oh, okay, cool. So I found out when the rest of the world found out that he had a girlfriend.
Damn.
Yeah.
So wait, did he? So it's what you're saying, it
Yeah.
sounds like he faked dated you for the show while also having quote unquote a real relationship outside of the show. Is that how it felt to you?
Yeah. And like it was kind of like a slap in the face. People say the same shit about me. Venita doesn't show much. She doesn't share much about her life. She's so protective over herself, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, the 1 year I decided to like let it rip, I literally get played. I'm like, okay, this is why I don't. When everything else, you know, like it backfires on me.
Damn.
So
Okay, because timeline wise, were you dating during the filming of the show, or is this like post filming but before the teaser came out? And then there was a girlfriend that was shown on the show. Is this the same person?
yeah,
Wow.
it's the same person. Yeah. So
Who's
all
this?
this was in post. So like while we were filming this year, like, you know, just teetered about showing our friendship more. And like we were flirting back and forth, like, you know, shooting the shit. And then after cameras dropped, like that's when we started to like actually date when I came back from New York for the summer.
Okay.
And then he quits. And then he still comes back to do a green screen and then enters this girl into the situation. So he made his decision on his own.
And what was your reaction to his announcement of leaving the show and then also coming back to film green screens?
My reaction to him quitting was actually I was devastated for him because at this point, him and I hadn't spoken in 2 weeks, I think. So like I just didn't know where his head was at. Like in prior, his head was not in a good space whatsoever. So like I was equally mad, but like nervous for his well-being. I was just like, okay, like what has he got going on? But then I had to remember he's choosing to not talk to me because he's dating someone else. So like I gotta let that go. But my phone blew up that morning. I'll never forget it. I was staying at the Ritz-Carlton in Amelia Beach or Amelia Island. And like, I think he posted it at like 6:30 in the morning. And I get a call from the network at like 7:15. And they were like, hey, like, dude, because everyone always knew to check in with me on him because we were so close. They were like, hey, like, do you know what's going on? Like, where is he? Like, why is he saying this? I was like, your guess is just as good as mine. I have no idea what's going on. Like, not a single clue.
What does the rest of your cast
Like,
say about
not a
it?
single. Oh, they didn't care. Because at that point, they were tired of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, not about him, but
they
more
weren't
about
his-
him and kind of playing you.
a lot of them were disappointed. Like, if I had Madison like being like, listen, I don't like him, but like if you're liking him, like cool, like he can hang around us. Like if I got Madison to do that and you still played me, like
tough.
I literally was risking friendships that I had cultivated and built and like spent a long time trying to get them to where they are now. And I'm just like, guys, like, you know, like as my friend, like I just need you guys to have my back with this. Like, I know you don't like it, like, but like I like it and like I'm happy, whatever. They're like, fine. And then I turned around and like got played by him and it was very I don't think anyone was happy.
And why does Madison hate him so much?
Because he did the whole like you wanted to sleep with me, you wanted to
Have an affair on your
Well, I get-
beautiful husband.
I assumed it was deeper than that, or she only hates him because of that.
I mean, that's deep enough. Like you're literally going out to the world and saying that I had an affair. You're trying to insinuate an affair when that didn't happen. Meanwhile, like Madison was going through God knows, I shouldn't say God knows what, because I know exactly what, but like her life was flipping upside down and you're out here screaming about, oh yeah, like an affair. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So back to, I'm just curious though, because back to like when we first started talking, you're like, you know, TV JT is different than real life JT, but it kind of seems like maybe it's not, you know, because like it almost feels like real life JT is just as smarmy and backstabby as TV JT. I mean, what is the difference now that you are kind of saying his atrocities out loud?
I don't know.
Yeah, got me there.
I gotta be really honest. I have no idea. And like, I have to think about it now. Like, was he playing me? Like, was he showing me a version of himself to get me in good graces? And this is actually who he is in real life, is the TV version of him. And I got the version that I thought was the real version, it might not have been. You know what I mean?
So is the first time you confront him about all of this at the reunion, or have y'all had a conversation before?
First time I confront him is at the reunion.
Watching this season, it feels like he kind of has been ostracized by the rest of the cast. The guys really want nothing to do with him. Madison wants nothing to do with him. And it sure looks like, especially after hearing your story now, it sure looks like his big plan was to like make sure you were cool with him because no one else was and no one else would fuck with him. And we know, like, I mean,
Unless
you can't create a scene if you have no one to do a scene with. And it was like, well, at least I have Venita. And it seemed like he almost used you to have like a seat at the table. And his quote unquote quitting the show was more like him trying to get ahead of being fired because everyone's like, I don't want to fuck with this guy anymore.
Yeah, and I looked at it as he was trying to get ahead of how he was going to look now that I knew he was dating someone else the whole time we were filming. You know what I mean? And after filming. So like he was trying to get ahead of like, oh, I don't want to look the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, let me go ahead and put this girl online and be like, oh, it's complicated, which he's now changed that caption 4 times.
Oh,
to what? Back into what?
He'll take out the hashtag is complicated and he'll just be like, oh, like lost times or favorite moments or whatever. Like, it's insane.
Who is this person?
They just showed like a clip of her when Venita and JT had like a
I mean,
talk at the apartment.
his response to you that I can't do anything about it is crazy. I mean, he could do something about it. He could have been like, because she came after you, right?
Right. And like called me a rat and was like, I don't want Venita to have a rat friend.
Who?
Rat?
A rodent?
Crazy.
Me? A rodent with 2 big teeth and long tail? No.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yeah, and he was just like, I can't do anything about it. And it was just like, all right, cool. Flag number 1 for me was just like,
that was crazy.
Put everything else aside. Your best friend, you are not going to defend your best friend against someone who's speaking ill towards them, no matter who the other person is. You're not going to say anything because you don't have any control over that. You can't do anything about it. All right, cool.
Did this get brought up at reunion?
Yes, it did.
I was about to say, because this would be a huge issue for me. I'm just like, bro, I stood by your side through all this and you can't be like, hey, babe, maybe don't call her that. I don't know.
Yeah, like don't talk about her like that. Like you might not like her, but like what I won't allow you to do is to speak ill about her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Or he could have been like, it's not her fault. She has a whole different impression of my intentions. It's my fault. I did this. Like that's on me. You should be mad at me, not Venita. He could have done that.
Damn.
He could have done fucking something.
Yeah.
More than nothing.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Sienna these days?
I don't.
Is Shep okay? Is his heart healed? Do you know?
Yeah, I think Shep's doing good. He posted this video, I guess it was like a few days ago after like the episode aired or whatever, and he was just like, "Hey guys, like don't like beat her up and don't be mean to her and blah blah blah." And like I responded to it with some hearts, and he was like, "Was that okay?" And I was like, "No, this is good. Like this is what a real man does. Like you're not even dating this girl anymore, and you're still trying to defend her against the evil people that are probably going to attack her on social media. Like you're doing great."
I don't think they should be attacking anyone, but like Shep looked the most vulnerable this episode. She'll come and go, like she just doesn't like Shep, but this is more Shep's fault. Like what is she doing?
Like I don't think I like you anymore. Like I brought you here, but like I don't think this is going anywhere. I hope you guys have a good time, but like after this, we're just not going to talk. Like it's so simple.
Imagine being in her shoes for anyone sitting in this room, and you too, Venita. It's just like imagine kind of dating someone. You kind of like them. You're not sure. You're on the fence. Like they seem nice. You've had some good moments. He's like, I'm going to bring a whole TV crew with me on our next date.
She's a fan of the show.
Fine, whatever. But either way.
She wants, right? She wants to be on the show. Yeah.
Fine, but then maybe it was too much for her and they show up and she's getting a little cold feet. He's like sending her texts about the freckle on her lip. I'm just saying it's a little intense. He's like, you're
like it's not like we start the season and on day 1 we're like, yeah, we're going to the Bahamas in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like these things take time. So like when the idea was brought up and she was still feeling some type of way about Shep, like she didn't like him, just say, hey, like maybe this isn't a good idea.
And we heard several FaceTimes of her being like, when are you coming to the Bahamas? Are you going to come to the Bahamas? And he was like, yeah, I got to figure out how to get out there. Like she was inviting them.
Sure, but he doesn't really take a hint. He does.
And she is the first person to click on Bravo when Southern Charm starts airing.
I mean, calling Whitney a catfish when you watch the show is wild, but I don't, that's a whole nother debate.
Wait, say that again?
Well, she referred to Whitney as a catfish because apparently they matched or something. And I was like, don't you watch the show?
Yeah, she watches it. That's why she went for one and one said no, and then she went for the next easy available option. Shep, I'm so sorry.
So did you see this like 27-part series she did on TikTok?
No, I keep refusing to look.
I mean, honestly,
Like I'm not giving her the time of day.
yeah, honestly, everyone in the comments is like 7 parts for what? Like you've said literally nothing. So there's really not much there.
So she won't be back next season.
I mean, she said more there than she did when we were filming for 3 months.
Yeah.
Anyway, God bless. Good luck
bless.
to her.
There's a clip of you crying towards the end of the season. I don't know if it's like a final dinner. Can you tease anything that's coming up?
JT made me cry.
That's it.
Yeah.
I hate him.
No.
That was not a happy moment for us.
What is your take on Craig and Paige breakup? Like, how is Craig doing? Do you think it's being handled well?
I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest. I think Craig is doing Craig. So, you know.
What's that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a dig or support.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know, Craig and I aren't that close. So like,
Okay.
I can't really speak to how he's doing. You know what I mean? And like when I say that Craig is doing Craig, like Craig is not really opening up and speaking about it to us as a group.
Okay.
So we kind of get anything about the relationship from what we see online. You know what I mean? It's not like he's confiding in, at least he's not confiding in me. So
Gotcha. Do you think just from what
Yeah.
you're seeing or just from what you know of the man, because you know him better than we do,
yeah,
do you think his heart is still broken or do you think he's milking it?
both.
From your perspective, how do you think he's milking it?
I just think that like she's not running around doing all these like PR moments about it. She's just trying to like let the situation die, and like he's still doing that. And it's just like we understand like your heart's broken, but like it almost seems like you're dragging this out longer than it needs to be. Like just let it be like as clean of a breakup as it can be. You know what I mean?
Are you referring to him going on Tamron
Tamron
Hall?
Hall?
Like cable net?
Well,
network
he
television?
did that, and he's done a slew of other things too. You know what I mean? But it's just like, at what point are you going to allow yourself to heal to not continue to do these things? You know what I mean? Like the person you want to listen to you right now, she's not. You're not together anymore. It's okay.
Do you think he
Wrap it
should
up.
like let everyone know what Paige is or isn't doing?
Oof. Yeah, I think he should. Only because he is deeming her to be attacked by not. So like speak your truth and let it be known the same way you're speaking your truth about everything else.
What if he doesn't know?
Then stop answering like you do.
Ooh.
Okay.
Period. Venita.
Are you and Naomi on good terms?
Yeah, I saw her last week.
Is there any chance that
Yeah.
she might come back to the show?
I don't know. I don't really ask her about it, you know? I just feel like if she wants to, she will.
Okay.
And it'll be exciting, especially now that her and I are in such a good place. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think she's past it. I think she's past it.
Oh, tell her we miss her.
Are you a fan of White Lotus?
I am. I did not watch last night's episode, though. I missed it.
Did you hear that the creator kind of told to watch Southern Charm and based
Yeah,
that-
and Cam posted it. Cam posted it on her Instagram this morning, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like it was so cool. Like, there's no way. But she made a good point. She was like, they were talking about him having like this North Carolina accent, but it sounds just like T-Rav. You know what I mean? So it's like those two things don't add up. It's like it's based off of us in South Carolina, not North Carolina. Like,
Yeah.
stop that.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
That's crazy.
Venita, thanks so much for taking the time and opening up about your relationship with JT and your thoughts just on your cast in general. Excited to see things shake out at the reunion. Hope it goes really well for you and hope that you get the justice that you deserve.
Hope so.
Do you need us to
Thanks,
start
y'all.
any type of hashtags or like anti-JT things going into the reunion? Like, or
Petition, perhaps.
yeah,
T-shirts.
Team Venita.
we can start a revolution.
She's
Yeah.
thinking.
I was like, no.
Like he played you.
Yeah, but like
I
playing
can't.
somebody back and
No, it'd be great.
Their
Well, like
level is
we'll come for JT's throat.
no.
And then when he says, and he was like, "Hey, what's this all about?" from your interviewing, and you can be like, "Sorry, I can't do anything about it."
Oh, okay,
Huh? We like that, don't you?
I kind of like that. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
all
we can come up with something.
All right,
Okay,
fuck
I'm fine with that.
JT. All right, Venita, have a great day. Best of luck at the reunion. We
Thank you.
appreciate your time. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, y'all. Bye.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
She's so cute.
Love her.
That was awesome.
I love
Gave it.
Venita.
Yeah.
hmm We have the same take on Paige and Craig.
this obviously isn't Paige and Craig, but Sierra could have never been more relatable this episode.
What part? Her trying to devour Wes at the table or her talking to Wes after?
No. Her reading him to filth and then being like, kind of want to make out with him. I feel
Yeah.
Realistic.
Think I don't want to hug you?
She's like, is this toxic of me to like actually want to like go make out right now? And like,
Mhm.
no, it's not.
Read him to filth, whatever.
Mhm.
She just called him a beta.
Exactly.
She called him a
Did
bitch
she lie?
ass.
Beta move is kind of wild.
Beta, bitch ass.
She's calling him not a man.
A
To be
loser.
clear, like a loser, you know, like
No, it's definitely really fucking mean.
it's
honestly.
giving I'm not over it and I still care. And like, yeah, it's just mean.
Well, yeah.
She's just trying to be mean.
She definitely does still care. Like, obviously, she like.
I think
showed
she's
some-
allowed
she
to be
showed
mean.
some
I don't give
emotion
two
in
fucks
her.
about
Let's
like,
give her a brownie commercial.
100%.
I'd
She
watch
showed
it.
emotion in her ITM. She got upset, and like, so she clearly does still care. I think it comes from, and she like said this of like they were such good friends before. Like it started off in such a friendship, and like she is just like let down by.
I guess, but,
actions.
like,
it's like
And she has
I get
every
it.
right to be hurt, and it's it didn't work out. I really feel for that, but like I'm having a hard time understanding how she can come for him at the reunion like she did last season. He clearly wasn't expecting it, didn't anticipate it. Paige and Sierra came for his throat. He looked the way he did. It wasn't great. All of Summer House Nation was coming at him, and then he's not supposed to what? Speak on it or
No,
respond
they went and had dinner. They obviously got on good terms. No one was at that dinner but the two of them, but they both left feeling good.
He doesn't sound like he felt good.
He did.
Maybe
He said
as far as their relationship goes, but like publicly he wasn't.
And then he went to publication
I'm
to
sure
talk
that
about it more.
I'm sure that
Mhm.
if they would have had that dinner, he would have left it at that dinner, then like and would have not done a New York Times article or whatever, like
It's
rubbed
not
her
as
so
if
wrong.
it's not
I
like,
think his
it's not like she got his permission to come at him at the reunion.
huh?
That's what a reunion is. It's addressing things. He said nothing. He refused to answer any of her questions or to give his feedback on anything, exactly like he did when she brought it up at the table. And then he sits there and says nothing, but then is ready to go run and have a
Run?
2-page fucking
Ugh.
expose on a
But
relationship.
he's not allowed to speak on it.
Speak
Well, he-
to the person.
Yeah, speak in the time that you're spoken to
doesn't
instead
wanna
of like
talk to him.
going
Well,
off.
why am I owed an explanation when I don't give a fuck and I didn't ask for it, but she's not owed an
True.
explanation? He can go tell the New York Times,
That's
so
true.
I know. So my opinion of Wes is different, but he doesn't give a fuck about the one person it actually matters to.
We'll continue this heated debate
Yeah.
momentarily. We have Alex from The Bachelor with us to talk about her recent exile from, well, not really the mansion. She was
castle.
kicked out of the castle in Scotland.
Scotland.
Mm.
All right, let's bring her on.
Traitors' influence knows no bounds.
Alex.
Alex,
Oh, how's it going?
good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm all right. Did you burn the first impression rose?
Did I burn it?
I'm kidding.
I'm so no. Honestly, I'm so ADHD. I feel like I lost it the first night. I was like, where the hell did I put that rose?
And then Grant found out about it and sent you home. Is that what happened? Yeah.
But good joke. No, everyone was like keeping their roses and like souvenirs, and I left with like the same suitcase. I went in, and that's it.
Oh, no.
I have no idea where any of the roses I ever received on The Bachelor are. So
Right?
No.
Like,
Really?
No, I don't. I think I attempted to save some.
I bet your mom has them next to like your high school medals or something.
Probably. Yeah. Alex, what happened? You were like, first impression rose. You got the first one-on-one. He took you to the mall at the.
I
Beverly
know,
Center.
my local mall. I know. I live in LA now, and I was like, oh, I went to Target a month ago here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Beverly
Like,
Center at all of them? We couldn't do Century City?
Americana.
Yeah. No Grove.
So I live right by Century City, so that I love that mall. Beautiful mall. Beverly Center, on the other hand, is okay.
It's certainly
an
a
okay
mall. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they closed it. Yeah. Anyways, what happened
Yeah.
in your mind, Alex? Where did it go wrong?
Honestly, that will be a really great question at Women Tell All because I wasn't walked out, so I have no idea. I went into it thinking we had a great connection. I was like, hometown, here we come. And I don't know.
So
I really don't know.
You were shocked. You were surprised. You were caught off guard.
100%.
Wow.
100%. And I think my reaction at the end will also tell that I was very shocked.
Oh yeah, we saw
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You can tell I'm not very emotional as a person. I'm like always crying for everything.
Who surprised you the most in terms of the ladies who made it to hometowns, and why was it Zoe?
You're putting words in my mouth. I would say, and I mean, I think it's a bit of a shock for everybody. Zoe, just because she didn't have a one-on-one, I don't know what their connection was, so I don't want to speak on that. But I think because she didn't have a one-on-one, we all kind of, expected, well, it's probably going to be someone who has had one. So yeah, that's probably boo. But I think looking back on screen now, I'm like, oh, they did have a connection, and she shared a lot about herself. So
having been familiar with that atmosphere in filming, sometimes we saw Zoe make a lot of waves early on, ruffle some feathers, and then it became the Carolina show. And then like Zoe kind of almost took a back seat a little bit with the drama. I'm curious, from what you remember of the filming, was that like how it played out? I only ask because like sometimes if there's drama early on, and then you find out, like, or the producers find out, or the show finds out that the, like, say Grant in this case, like, has a thing going with Zoe. They might be like, hey Zoe, like, stop, I don't know, like, stop pissing so many people off, because like, did you see Zoe kind of cool things off, or were we just not privy to some of the drama that she was involved in? Which is more accurate?
I want to say the first one, where I think Zoe from the get-go, ruffles some feathers for sure. But I don't think it was intentional. I don't think with any of the girls anything was intentional. I think in that setting, everything is so heightened. And sometimes it's just like to take a second and be like, is this really, like, guys, like outside of the real world, would we really act like this? No. So I think with Zoe, yeah, she really took the back seat. And I think it kind of probably felt nice for her for a little bit that she wasn't like the center of attention in that realm, and that. So yeah, for sure. That's how it panned out.
Carolina, what were your thoughts on her? Was she misunderstood, or just really obnoxious energy sucker?
Nick. Again, this has been my stance from the get-go. I want to say that things were blown out of proportion for sure. Do I think that's, she may have threw someone under the bus and we're missing a lot of context, and people, see Rose as this, negative who wanted to up Carolina by saying that? We're missing a lot of context.
Can you fill in some of that context for us that we might be missing?
I think it'll be more, it's not my place to say because I'm not, Rose and I'm not Carolina. So I think at Women Tell All.
Oh, that's the worst answer ever, Alex. That's an absolute terrible answer.
I know you wanted, that's what you wanted to hear. But no, I just think that things were just blown out of proportion. I think someone wanted, maybe their ego was hurt a little bit. And instead of approaching it, maybe I think two girls with Grant would have been the best decision versus one girl. Because then I think the other person could have defended herself. I think that's more would have
2-on-1
been the better. A 2-on-1 versus right, because then it comes off as like, okay, we're two girls that were maybe hurt, and then we're coming to you versus putting one under the bus.
Honestly though, I blame Rose though, because had Rose not just pieced out in the middle of a night, she might have gotten a 2-on-1 the next week.
Maybe.
Who knows? I think that's not how it.
Well, how did it go down, Alex? Let us know. You're allowed to say things that we didn't get to see.
I think the way it looked on TV, I think, she, and again, I'm not Rose, so I don't know her experience, but I think it did taint her experience a little bit because she wasn't coming from a place of malintent. And I think, like they said on TV, they were comparing notes and someone got hurt. And they wanted to also defend their names, and I get that. And I think after that, it set back Rose with her relationship with Grant for sure, and her whole experience.
Will you be looking to develop a relationship with Carolina post-show?
I think, we all have different personalities. We both live in LA. We haven't seen each other yet, and it's nothing against her or anything. I just think maybe our personalities wouldn't mesh the best. And also I'm a little bit like, I'm from the get-go, Rose was my girl. So not to be petty, but I think, out of respect for Rose.
In Scotland, obviously, there was another kind of big blowout at the group date with Carolina not really involving herself. And then, of course, Grant pulled her, and it caused a big fight with Dina and Serafina. Yeah. And I think you kind of even got involved at the end of it. Like, do you...
Really?
A little bit.
I don't remember that.
A little bit. Do you think that the whole kind of fight was like Dina said that because Grant pulled her, she should have said like, no, like, let's cut our time short because there's so many other women here. Like, we shouldn't talk this long. Do you stand by that she should have done that? Or are you like, listen, he pulled her, have all the time that you want? It's like
Like, would anyone actually give up their time?
That's the thing. It's like there's two perspectives, and I hate being a Switzerland because I can
We hate
see
it too.
if I were in her shoes, and I feel just the type of personality that I am, if I knew the girls were already kind of upset with me, I would have been like, you know what? I've had enough time. I don't want the girls to be even more upset at me. Let's cut it short. But in her shoes, I think she was coming from a place of they don't really necessarily vibe with me. So why would I care? And I'm here for Grant. So I think it depends what type of personality you have. And I think Carolina's a bit more like a go-getter maybe. And yeah, I think that's how it went down. But do I think it was a little bit disrespectful? Maybe. But then again, if, we're all here for a reason. So if you can have more time with Grant, why not? Oh, it's tough because I know I wouldn't have done it, but I don't know what her perspective was, her point of view with like all the girls not being the biggest fan of her. So it's like,
you don't think you
do I
would
really
have
care?
been like, yes, Grant, let's talk for as long as possible. Like, I'm here to like marry you. If you think you would have been like,
yes, but then this is a me issue. It's like, I also think like I care a lot about what, my friends think. And then I feel like you need the girls on your side, or not on your side, but you need them throughout this experience for it to go smoothly and like on your mental health. Like if I didn't have some of my girls there, I would have left week 1 for sure.
That's valid.
So, which is like also very, like I can empathize with Carolina of, her experience was probably terrible, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of, she put herself in that situation. I think her experience was probably terrible. So I think you need to balance both. You need to balance, like, I think our conversation was, I think quality over quantity, right? So if I feel like, hey, we've had a really great conversation and we've been talking for a long time and like the girls need also their time as well, that's how I would approach it.
Gotcha.
And like Nick's like, you're full of shit.
No, I don't think you're full of shit. I think, yeah, I get it. You're being very safe and, you don't want to ruffle any feathers,
You've seen me. I feel like I'm
You're very polite.
Sure, Zoe. I was really happy for Zoe that she stole my strategy and had more time with him. I mean,
Why are you happy for Zoe?
Come on.
I wasn't happy. I was upset. I was upset because I got a concussion and I was like, all of that for what?
When did you get a concussion?
The bull riding.
Bull riding.
Remember, Zoe stole her method of going over the horns, or Alex would have won.
But I'm also very competitive, so it's like honestly, if roles were reversed, I probably would have stole her strategy too. So
Yeah.
I think you should slash her tires. Just kidding. No, I'm kidding. Do we have any more questions for Alex before we let her go?
If asked to be on the beaches of paradise,
Will you go?
we see you?
I think so. I think, I watched Paradise for the first time a month ago, and it's definitely more my speed. I'm more of like not saying that I'm not serious, but I'm definitely more of like a goofy, chill person. That sounds so pick me. I'm still goofy. But it's more my definitely, yes. I think that would be very.
Have you been scouting any of the boys from previous seasons? Any biceps you've been really into, or six packs that you're like?
Sometimes you see them on pictures and you're like, and then you see their personality and you're like,
wait. We won't hold you to anything. You still can reserve the right to get the ick from any of them.
Yeah, like I was gonna say something. Like the piano. I'm not a big piano person.
The piano's an ick for you?
When he was singing.
That's what he wanted out of me. He wanted something spicy.
Yes.
The piano.
Thank you.
That gave me the ick
Grant
too.
gave you the ick when you played the piano.
It gave me the ick as well.
If he had played piano in Century City.
Exactly. It's just, and I'm going to be very honest with that, is that everyone knows from, back home in Canada that my biggest ick is someone who, when we're all having a great time and someone pulls out the goddamn guitar.
Yep.
And it's like, you have to listen finally. And it's like, we're having a good time. Why?
I don't even care if you're good singing.
No, it's like, why are you? Yeah. And then on top of that, it was the first time that I was having time with Grant, right? It's not like at the end of the season where you have a bit of a relationship. So, and to get stated, I was like, okay, you got this. Let's, but I think I did a pretty good job.
That was your kiss
Honestly,
of death. Grant knew it. You can't hide an ick, and he felt it, and he knew it, and you were like, she doesn't appreciate my music.
Honestly, Alex, thank you for your service.
Right? I think it did.
It's a teachable moment for Grant.
I know, and it would have made it different at the end of the season where I know him versus like a stranger at this point singing to you. I was like, but I feel like the song was good. The song was good.
What do you think of his
song was
his like song?
Party girls.
Yeah, Party Girls. Did you listen to that?
I think it's pretty good. I think if
It is solid.
yeah, pretty solid, honestly, for like just starting out. I think it's catchy. It's catchy. I don't want to like it, but it's catchy.
I'd shake my ass in a club to it.
I refrain from my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like if Chris Brown was to come out with a song like that, girls would be like, yeah. I don't know why I said Chris Brown. It looks like Chris Brown.
As you see it now, from a viewer standpoint, we're spoiler free. Obviously, I know you are too. Who do you think are his two frontrunners?
I think I'm gonna wait on that. I'm not too sure.
What's your opinion?
Is that a terrible answer?
It's the worst answer, Alex. The absolute worst.
I think that Latia and Juliana are his final two. I think Latia wins.
I think Juliana wins.
So what is your
I can't tell the difference between Juliana and the lawyer,
Dina?
Dina.
What?
Can't tell the difference.
How?
They're
Because
both
one
pretty,
has
though.
blonde hair, one has brown hair. They seem like the exact same
Really?
person to me.
You literally just described.
Personalities. People were saying that about Dina and Natalie, but Juliana and Dina's personality. Well, they're pretty different. I feel like personality wise. I think front runners would be. I want to say Juliana and Latia as well, just because of what I've observed and their connection for sure.
Yep.
Okay.
See, I knew it.
All right, Alex. Well, thank you very much for your time. Good luck on the beach.
Thanks.
Wait, did you answer the question about what
Yeah,
guys
wait,
you're
yeah,
into?
what guy?
Yeah, wait, hold on. What guys?
Oh, what guys I'm into? So I think Tanner's cute.
Hmm?
I think Tanner's cute.
Tanner.
I think
The guy who's hanging out with all the Vanderpump
Yep.
people?
Yeah. Who went on
Oh.
a date with Julianne Hough?
I don't
Okay.
follow any of the reality stuff. I
Okay.
think he's cute, and a lot of people think that me and Jonathan's personality would mesh well. But then I'm like, would we just be too much?
Maybe.
I need someone. I think
Jonathan's
balance me
very
out, 'cause
charming.
Yeah.
He's very charming. Good looking guy, too.
I'm size-
How may I ask how tall are you, How tall are you, Alex? Five huh?
But
You cut out.
I like a tall.
She's 5'5".
But I mean, 5'5".
5'5".
Why are you yelling at me?
I know we've said it
She keeps
20
cutting out.
times. She's like 5'5".
Five.
I'm 5'5".
All right, yeah, medium king.
5'5".
Great,
Yeah.
5'5". Perfect. All
It'll
right.
work out.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Well, good luck to you and Jonathan on the beaches of paradise.
Okay, thank you so much.
Rooting
guys.
for your love
Thank you,
story. All right, take
Alex.
care. All right, bye, Alex.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. I almost had to side with Carolina when
Dina was going after her.
when Dina was
I'd-
going after her.
same.
It was just like, what, she's supposed to
Same.
what? Give up her time?
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
listen,
I
the whole
agree.
pulling aside and her crying and being the damsel in distress, obviously that was obnoxious. But
Mhm.
like,
You're on The Bachelor.
you're not,
Yeah.
You want to be like, no, Grant, I don't want to talk to you. All the other girls are here. Let's not talk. Like, that's crazy that they want her to do that.
Agreed on that.
And all of them being like, well, I would. It's like, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
I also-
believe you.
You know, I thought the most interesting thing Alex said was when she was like, you really need your girls to have a good time here.
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Sure, but it was also is giving like, don't ruffle the house because they'll bully the fuck out of you.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's my point. You know, it's just like, like, yeah, you have to make friends, but like clearly this group of friends, like and I don't even think it's any one person. It's like the house becomes this organic living thing where like the house is only caring about like no one winning, everyone having fairness, not ruffling feathers. And the house makes the rules, just basically go after anyone who is like not playing by the house's rules. And it's kind of bullshit.
I think they have to keep Carolina in check though, because even like when Juliana was going in the helicopter, she's like, "I'm not jealous."
No,
Alex was like, "You had a private jet." Like she just makes
Yeah.
comments and like,
Carolina is very insufferable, to be clear. Like she is doing the most.
Yeah.
But, like-
the sitting at the table, eating alone, pouting, like she's definitely putting
Girl.
on the damsel in distress
Yeah.
act. But I do think the fact that these women expected her to turn down a conversation or cut a conversation short when Grant did pull her
Mm-hmm.
is
I'm with
like
Dina.
ridiculous.
I'm with Dina on this one.
That's crazy.
It's like if you're sitting in silence with the assumption that you're going to then prompt the conversation, that's her like taking him, Versus like if she was genuinely just to the side, like doing her thing, sure.
Having a
I
fun
don't
time alone.
know. And
Yeah.
then she just kept being like, well, how's your night? Since you're not asking us how our night
Yeah,
is,
what is
how's
that?
your night? It's like, well, y'all aren't fucking friends with me. I don't care
Yeah.
what your night is.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that line of questioning. How's your night? So how was your night? It's like,
How was your chat with Grant? So and she's like, it's good as it could have been. And they're like, what the fuck? Good as it could have been? It's like,
Well, they
y'all
were-
are attacking
They
me.
were asking her as if like she was talking shit on them, and
Was she not?
She wasn't.
She
She was
didn't say
heavily
anything.
implying that I
No.
don't feel supported and welcomed here.
Her last 2 conversations were about like other women and situations. So for them, they're just like, so is there gonna be something else tonight?
Everything about Carolina is premeditated.
Yeah.
And I love her, but like,
She deserves all the criticism she's getting. We're not defending Carolina. We're criticizing
Yeah.
how the other women are handling someone who clearly is obnoxious
yeah.
and not, but like they're also making her point, Carolina's point, which is like they're justifying her being obnoxious for them being mean girl. I mean, they are like the house.
They're definitely being mean girls.
Yeah, I think they're operating in a position where they already dislike her. So now it's like when you know you don't like someone and you know there's that one person that everyone doesn't like, you operate differently with them where everything they does piss you off versus the things that actually deserve to piss you off.
Right. So then why wouldn't Carolina just continue to piss them off? Because
Exactly.
she's not going to become friends with them. So it's
Yeah.
like, why would I respect you now? You don't fucking respect me.
But
Damage is done.
Even Dina, like your best friend in the process, now she's like, girl, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
So that's when you know, like, it's not an us issue, it's a you issue.
She's definitely doing too much. It was just more. That's an insane ask to be like, yeah, you're not.
For an attorney, it was a weird argument.
Yeah.
Basically, they were
Yeah.
saying, prove your loyalty to us, the group, and turn down your conversation with Grant, and then we can talk.
I thought it was like, be respectful to your best friends, the girls that haven't
Best
had a
friends?
chance.
That's how they sold it.
Best
Coworkers.
True.
Those girls are not best friends.
Dina was her best friend in the process.
Not really.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah, valid.
She stuck up for her one time and was like, I see my younger self in you or whatever. Like, definitely.
But
her best
also for
friend.
Carolina to sit there and like on the log and not say like anything, I'm like, girl, you're like wasting all the time and then not even like saying anything. Like you're being even more dramatic, you
And
know?
to Zoe's point, the only person who should be throwing a little temper tantrum is the one person who didn't get a one-on-one this entire time. Like I
Zoe.
for sure thought she was gonna go home.
I will say it was pretty fucked up of Grant to give Carolina so much security sitting on that rock being like, I'm locked in. She like gave so many times where she's like, I don't
Send me
think it's
home.
me.
Send me home.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
me. I think I should go home. And he's like, listen, I'm locked in.
Are you locked in?
Then sends her home the next night. Huh? That's crazy.
But it's giving Parisa, like, here, I thought about you, I got you
way,
rocks.
way more.
To a higher
yeah.
extent for sure, but I'm just saying that I'm like the bait and switch is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like you're secure, you're special, and then
Like,
you're going
it
home
would have been
tonight.
so much more respectful if in that moment where she's like, I don't think it's me. I think I should go home. Where he would have been like, listen, like, I agree. Maybe there has been, and she could have been like, okay, I'm going to go. But instead, he's like convinces her to stay just to send her home himself.
I think in Grant's defense, I think the people running this show they're in charge.
Yeah. That's just like I feel like the producers or whomever is in charge of everything. I'm like, you would never have gotten that. Like, I guess I'm the villain. Guess I'm crazy. Like the whole like after, like you already know somebody's spiraling. I'm like, you know that the drama is going to ensue at this after party.
When Carolina and Grant were having a conversation, he said something. I wish I had the tape. I think she was like begging him to send her home, and he was like, "There's like a time and a place for that." And it told me that Grant was like didn't feel like he had the green light to send her home in that moment. Like
Right.
it seemed like Grant was like, "Oh, we'll see at the rose ceremony," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think, for different leads in different seasons, there's been a different environment and a different collaboration. Like way back when I was a Bachelor, it felt like it was like we were making a show together.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, it was kind of a negotiation. I'm like, help me find love, so to speak, and I'll help you make a great TV show.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like there's it's like, you're our Bachelor. Here are the rules. Do this, do this. We'll make sure you find love at the end. But like, that's the vibe that they're giving.
Do you think the franchise is tanking?
Do I think the franchise is tanking? I mean, like, it's obviously going through a bit of a shift. I mean, there's a lot, what was that? Was it Deadline that wrote that report?
Yeah, it was a Deadline exclusive.
Well, the report that's out there right now, it's a lot of former employees basically airing grievances about the people in charge now. Like, I know the people in charge. I know the people who left the show. I mean, the reality is like, what I've heard it described to me as like Game of Thrones. It's like after Mike Fleiss was like kind of what left the franchise, there are a lot of people who felt passed over.
Mm-hmm.
and they're the people in charge now. I think there's some hurt feelings with some of the people who got passed over.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot of politics. And then one of the people in charge came from Bachelor Canada, and other people have a certain feeling about that. But I think in the past, like when I was on the show, the sense I got from the producers is that it was more collaborative. That there would be a lot of different meetings, a lot of different inputs. The rumor is it's less collaborative now. Who knows? But in fairness to the people in charge now, obviously a lot of the people speaking are the people who are no longer at that company, and business is business. Like,
But isn't this stemming from like Jen Tran's season and kind of the whole like AFR of it all, where they forced her to watch that and she was like, do I have an option?
well, that was one example. Well, the article kind of led telling that story. If you guys don't remember, Jen Tran's AFR, where they made her watch, the breakup or the engagement video with what's his name. And yeah, I mean, they claim that Jen knew. What has Jen said about it?
Is she even off? Can she speak on it, or is she still under contract?
I don't know what
Well,
what are they gonna sue her?
Jen asked Jesse Palmer, "Do I have a choice?"
Well, that was during AFR.
She could
yeah.
that could have been a performative comment.
Yeah.
I think they probably gave her the heads up, but they might not have. I mean, they've definitely, it's reality TV. Like, their justification when it comes to blindsiding contestants and even blindsiding their lead, their argument is none of you are actors. We're not here to see you act and perform surprise. We're here to see your authentic reactions to these situations you signed up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of times where they did blindside people at their, and producers have been getting criticisms since the beginning of the show. So they're kind of numb to it or immune to it. So 50-50 whether they told her or not. But it does sound like with that story, there was a lot of people who, like a lot of other producers, who thought this was a terrible idea. They were dismissed. They were ignored, allegedly, by the people in charge.
Do you still have like respect for the franchise, or are you kind of
Respect? What do you mean?
Well, we seem to kind of just like defend them a lot. And I know obviously it's like you knew a lot of the people who were there. You're close to a lot of the people who were there.
I mean, I guess I always see both sides. I have more friends who don't work there anymore than I have friends who work there.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of a lot of the frustrations. Like they say, business is business. So like, I can see why they're no longer friends with the people still there. I wouldn't be, so to speak. On their other side, I don't know. Like, I wasn't there when the decisions were made or who got promoted, who didn't get promoted. But like, yeah, someone won.
Do you think that they're like trying to revamp everything with pausing Bachelorette, and then Bachelor in Paradise was on pause last summer, and now we're finally getting it back? And it feels like the schedule of this season of Bachelor is moving a lot faster. So also correct me if I'm wrong. Like, do we think that they're trying to speed up the process in 6 episodes that we're already?
Well, that's another thing too. Yeah, because it was always like, we're at hometowns already, and literally when I was watching it last night, I was like counting in my head, thinking, all right, like I remember filming. It's just like, well, what week of filming was that when we were? They're cutting a week short. I'm pretty sure, like. In Andy's season, we were in Marseille, France, week 5. We were in Italy, week 6, and then we were in Brussels, week 7. That was the week before hometown, so this is week 6. So they skipped a whole week of dating.
And like, didn't they used to have episodes where like, whether it's 2-on-1s or like there might be like a week where nobody goes home or something like that?
There's always someone goes home. There's definitely 2-on-1. They're getting to hometowns a week faster than they normally did pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I haven't like kept that close of track on it, but listen, budget cuts are all over Hollywood. They've drastically cut the budget of The Bachelor, even though it's relatively cheap to make compared to other shows. And so like, I think it's just a product of budget cuts.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, like Joey's season was wildly popular and they kind of shit the bed after that. There was the whole like Maria casting drama, like, clearly Jen wasn't someone they had planned for. That was pretty obvious. Whether it was like, because, who else was being considered other than Maria? Daisy. So like Daisy couldn't because of her health. She was a fan favorite. Maria was a fan favorite. Something happened with that. So then they like kind of had to pick Jen, and they sold it as like, oh, your first Asian bachelorette. But like, clearly, I don't think the show deserved any credit for that, because it was like, Jen was not even in like their a top choice for them. So they threw Jen almost to the wolves, having like not really casted for her.
Right.
No, like with Grant, they announced his being the Bachelor sooner. They did the same thing with Rachel Lindsay with an earnest attempt to try to cast people like
authentic connection.
Yeah, where they might be an authentic connection with Grant and some of the women. Just the way they're looking with Rachel and with Jen, they're like, all right, Jen's your bachelorette. We're filming next week.
Yeah.
And so coming
And
off the hype
it was
of
a lot. I remember it was a lot of the men like kind of coming out and being like, I was
here for
I was
Maria.
here for Maria. I was here for
Yeah.
Daisy. Like we thought it was going to be someone else.
So it just really put Jen in an unfortunate position. Her show didn't perform that well, and not surprisingly, because there was no hype or no momentum. There's no, they didn't really promote her season.
Right.
And then Grant, kind of the same thing. They seem to not really be investing in these, for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's an ABC. ABC is the one who markets the show. Warner Brothers is the one who produces the show. For years, there's always been conflict in terms of who gets to do what. There's internal conflict between ABC and Warner Brothers, and then there's already internal conflict between Warner Brothers and the people making the show. It does seem to be a huge mess right now.
Do you think that seeing the success of Golden Bachelor kind of is making them look at the normal Bachelor different, because it's Golden Bachelor so
Probably.
wholesome and it's new and it's a different concept, whereas Bachelor kind of has been running the same concept.
It's the influencers on The Bachelor versus the people on
People
Golden.
genuinely looking for love and a connection on Golden.
I think they only care about the ratings.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
business.
it's just business,
Yeah.
right? And I think the ratings of Golden have done very well. That being said, I don't know if it has the demo. Overall ratings aren't as important as the demo ratings. Demo ratings are ages between 18 and 45 or something like that, So I don't know how the Golden franchise performs in that demo over say their Bachelor's and the #1 performing show. It always has been. And then, Bachelorette, again, it's not a good sign, but again, I think it speaks to a lot of the internal turmoil going on there, a lack of unity. I think there's a lot of budget cuts. I think there's that too. So, who knows, but I wish that wasn't going on, because clearly it seems to be affecting the quality of the show. The show hasn't been as good as it used to be. I mean, I'm enjoying this season, but it's shorter. There's not a lot of compelling storylines, I don't know,
It doesn't seem as genuine. It seems like it seems scripted. It seemed, because so many people know what works and what doesn't work, that it seems so scripted that they do the same thing every
criticism
time.
I've heard from people who used to work there is that the people running it now are very there's not a lot of creativity. It's very not scripted, but very staged, very structured, very planned out, very inauthentic, very the producers, basically the people they talked about in this Deadline story, the two in charge, they're making all the decisions. They're planning the show beat by beat, and they're leaving very little for authentic moments and authentic reactions. That's the feedback I've heard from people who have since left the show. Whether that is, disgruntled employees or true, remains to be seen. But because there is a lot of people who have left on bad terms from that franchise.
I do think more and more is just going to continue to come out as I do think, and I hope that Jen Tran is able to speak about that AFR at some point in her life.
Has she not spoken about it?
I don't believe she has.
Last time we talked to her was right after AFR, when she was just I tried to call Devin right before that happened to kind of see what we were going to talk about. He had the moment to address stuff with me, and then didn't even at AFR.
But I think she obviously, she's under a contract.
Yeah.
I think once that contract's over, maybe she'll feel more comfortable to be listen, they threw me to the fucking wolves and they set me out there, and on live television, they were hey, watch this back, knowing that the person beside me was not the person in that engagement video, and I didn't want to do it. I told, I'm curious to hear her side of it.
I'll tell you this much. If they did tell her, they 100% came to her and sold her on the idea of why it would be great for her, regardless of whether it was great for her or not.
Yeah.
And then after they did whatever deed they do, they will follow up with the lead. They'll check in on their mental health. They'll make sure they're okay. They'll tell them it went
cover
great.
Their asses.
They'll cover their asses. They'll tell them it went great. And then they'll be you can't tell anyone we told you to say that.
Yeah.
She did tell us it was a whole lot to process. And that's why she was Dancing with the Stars was my way of I'm busy.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars might have been also her hey, listen, go do this and be happy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, now
her payoff.
She is happy with a partner now, so.
Yeah.
From Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah.
So.
Should we get to some Love is Blind?
We should.
It's interesting. I'm so much more invested in Love is Blind than The Bachelor, of people being real.
There's more real conversation. To that point is The Bachelor has lost some of his authenticity.
Yeah.
It's let's just get into it.
Dave is the worst.
Yeah.
Dave is the worst.
Yeah.
Dave fucking
Nasty, stinky.
sucks.
Can we
Not
just
middle.
go over the story?
Dave heard from one of his friends, and Lauren keeps asking, let me talk to them. Who are these people? And he won't say. So Dave heard that Lauren
So
was...
already we're suspecting if these friends aren't real.
No, I think they're probably real, but I think like
just
he's
won't-
purposely not letting Lauren talk to them.
Yeah, he was like, they're going to come
And his
over.
sister.
And his sister.
Yes. So
Dave's sister?
Yeah.
So
Dave's sister, who he won't shut up about. Yes.
for context, if you remember, when they were in the pods, he had asked Lauren, like, oh, when was the last time you were in a relationship? And it was like 6 months, like within the 6 months or like soon before she got on the show.
Uh-huh.
He then starts this rumor on camera when they're together in person after, saying, well, I heard you were like in a serious relationship with this guy and then broke it off with him to come on the show.
And I knew this guy, or like knew of this guy.
She told him in the pods.
She
like,
told him in the pod.
none of
She said
this-
she had an unserious relationship recently before coming into the pod.
And also, none of this is right before the pods. That's the part where he's pitching it as if it's like
It
you
happened 2 days before.
Yeah, and
He
it's like
literally said, you were with him the night before you left. And she goes, no, I
No.
wasn't. And
Yeah.
he was like, well, that's what my friends say. And she's like, I wasn't. And her girlfriends are like, she was with us. And he's like, I just don't know what to believe. That's crazy.
It's like,
I think it's crazy and insane that these people all agree to do this thing to begin with.
Sure.
To go on Love is Blind. I just think if you found out someone was like hooking up with someone on a regular basis, like and you found out from friends that other rumors, then like I don't think that makes him a bad guy for like not knowing who to trust.
No one's saying he's a bad guy, but I'm like, you can't pretend to be precious about this when you got signed up for a show where you're engaged to someone you've never met in 30 days. Like, but you're precious about the idea that she's been involved with somebody in a small town?
yeah.
Like, you're literally signing up to get married in 30 days to someone you've never met before. Of course, shit's gonna come out in 30 days.
And she looks at him and she goes after, she's like, I'd love to talk to your friends about this. Like, I'd love to get on the same page. I'd love to. And he's like, yeah,
And defend
you know,
myself.
like maybe. And then he's like, maybe we shouldn't. And then she's like, well, can you please like stay here tonight? I feel really
No, I remember
disconnected
that.
from you. And
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
like,
no,
nah.
I'm going to go. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about her. He obviously clearly is texting his friends being like, dude, like, just like say anything so I can get out of this relationship. Like,
Yeah, he's using
not
it as
into
an
it. He's
excuse.
trying to get out of the relationship and he's doing it by humiliating her on national television.
If you started dating someone who was actively on a regular basis sleeping with someone,
then don't go on a reality TV show to get married in 30 days. Like,
just
you
saying you're
can't
allowed
be
to have
precious
some
about one
questions.
thing.
he can have questions for sure,
but he's not even listening to her.
he has to
he's-
listen to the answers.
He's like,
but he doesn't believe her.
why wouldn't he believe her?
I don't
He
know.
has
He
no
just met
reason
her.
not to.
Maybe
He's her fiance.
They met 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
So exactly.
You wouldn't believe your fiance, who was the only person in the relationship that you're talking about. You're going to believe your friends who are like 4 steps away from that relationship.
I mean, I don't know who these friends are or how they know this girl or whatever.
But they
Exactly.
weren't a part of the relationship.
I don't know who these friends are.
Wouldn't you want her to go face to face with those people being like, what do you know about me that I don't know about myself, and allow me to defend myself? And instead
Yeah.
he goes, I'm going to keep you separate because I don't see
No,
a
I don't like
result.
how he's handling that.
But that's what I'm saying,
I'm
'cause the
only
truth.
speaking on the fact that like finding out that someone in this situation had a fuck buddy for 2 months right before, how unserious was it? You know, like how, and I know she said it was unserious, but like, I'm just saying, like,
What else
sex
can
is like, it's
she-
not a nothing thing.
Nick,
You know?
what else can... What do you mean? To men, it is absolutely fucking nothing. Men can go around slinging dick and not give a flying fuck.
Not all, some of them,
So, like,
some of
so-
them it's not. To
So
a lot
to
of
her,
people,
it was
sex
not. To
isn't
her, it was
nothing.
just sex. She said that. She's like black and white. She's like, listen, it was just sex. Imagine if like me and you in the beginning, we start dating and then like your friends are like, yeah, dude, like I'm friends with like some guy that she like used to hook up with. And like she was hooking up with him like right before y'all started dating. And you were like, hey, I have a question about this. And I answered it. And then you're like, I just don't believe you. Like, that's crazy.
My friend said, and it's like, were they in the room?
I definitely wouldn't say I just don't believe you.
That's pretty much what he's
But-
saying.
I might, if you were telling me something different than like people I trusted, who was like, yeah, so I found this shit out about you, it would probably affect me. It would probably rattle me. And if I had a decision about whether we had to get married 2 weeks from that, my judgment might be clouded.
I just think it's insane that he thinks he's in a position to judge her for being a single woman.
Why is he definitely judging her?
120,000%.
Because he is.
Because he's
Yeah.
trying to act like in today's day and age that she's doing something that she
If
might
this
have
was
done
the
something
other way
wrong.
around, I
saying,
just
like,
feel
how
like
dare-
y'all would be not the
Everyone's
same.
None of us
single.
would
We
be
don't give a
shocked.
fuck.
Yes.
Before you go on the show, you're single. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's
Of
like people on
course.
Bachelor. Like before you start filming, you are single. You can do whatever you want. Like you can fuck around with 20 people. You can fuck around with none. But like she's single. And
I
the
get
fact that he's being like, you shouldn't have been having sex with someone before you came here is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, let's read between the lines. Like, whoever this person is that she was involved with is low-key a clout chaser.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
the friends were like, he came after me, he came after her, like, and then he finally got Lauren. And then it's like, I don't know if you've seen, now he's posting like mock photos of him as if he was casted on Love is Blind and like releasing like text messages with producers to bring him on to confront
No, this
Lauren.
man is psychotic.
Yeah, like, so he's...
And it's clear that he will say anything to just like rattle someone's cage. It's clear he doesn't want Lauren and this guy to get married.
Exactly.
It's clear he doesn't want success for Lauren. So he's like, oh yeah, dude, like, yeah, we were like fucking like the night before she left, dude. And like, she was like...
Is he saying that?
Yeah, to his
what Dave
friends,
is claiming.
allegedly. But we haven't talked to him. We
All right,
haven't
but
talked to the
so
friends.
if this loser guy, fuck buddy guy is out there saying these, so he's making up rumors, allegedly, and he's telling these friends of Dave's who, like, fine, they don't know who this guy is. They're just like, yeah, this fucking guy is out there saying they did this. I'm just saying, Dave's immediately like just supposed to like blindly believe her no matter what. I'm not saying he's handling it well at all, and I don't like that he abandoned her that night, but the fact that he is supposed to just like dismiss it outright and pretend he doesn't have questions or pretend he doesn't care, you know, like I just think is unrealistic in this setting.
I think if Lauren was like, listen, yeah, I was in like a full on relationship. We'd been dating for 6 months and I like actually broke up with him to come on the show. Big red flag issue there. She's like, yeah, I was like having sex with someone. Like, yeah, I
kind of have a problem with that. I
benefits.
just feel like, you know, yeah, I understand it's 2025 and I understand hookup culture is like it's more acceptable, it's more prevalent, but like sex is not a meaningless thing to a lot of people. If you were just like having regular sex with someone leading up to the show, regardless of who you are,
But you
the
can't
other
say you
person
know
has a
what
right
sex
to
means to her.
I don't know what sex means to her, but it might mean something to Dave. I'm just saying, like, and I know he's a man.
He's
but
the one who wanted to fuck her the first night in the vacations. It doesn't mean shit to him.
That is true. That is true.
He's asking everyone, are you fucking? Are you fucking? Because we're not. Because we're not.
I'm just saying sex isn't meaningless.
But he's going around asking every other couple, are you guys having sex? Because I'm not. Like, I just want to know if you are, so I can kind of gauge where I'm at. So I'm like,
Sure,
no,
but
he's
like,
not precious. He's only precious about it because it affects him or it's his way of getting out of things. He's not being honest. If he was actually taking accountability or being like, I want to figure out where this is, you would have her sitting down with the friends that are talking shit and we would conflict resolve this. But instead,
What if his friends don't want to be on the show?
his friends do. He was literally like, I'm going to text them to not come because I don't want them to sit face to face with you. Why would that be?
They were gonna have a full on dinner with him.
I just think
And he pulled the plug.
I'm just like the idea that like fucking is meaningless and sex is meaningless.
But now you're
It's
making
crazy
it
to me.
a macro thing where we're talking about two people, like as to
No,
how
you
he's
guys are just like,
behaving.
oh, it's fucking, it's nothing. They weren't
To
serious.
some people, it's nothing. We have 3 people in this scenario. We have Lauren, we have this guy that she was fucking, and we have Dave. And to all 3 of them, clearly, sex is meaningless. Dave wanted to fuck the first night he met her. So clearly, it was like meaningless to all 3 of them.
Not to keep it going, but you're definitely right that Dave is intimidated or insecure about Lauren in that relationship. But I don't think that's her fault necessarily. But
I don't think it's her fault, and I think he's definitely handling it poorly.
Yeah.
I just think he is allowed to feel a certain way about the fact that she was in a physical relationship shortly prior to coming on this show. And I don't think that makes him a bad guy.
I think if she asked him, when was the last time that you shared any moment with any other woman,
Moment?
it would be probably the day before I left for the show. I don't think it would be months or years prior to him going. I don't think his life stopped when he got the opportunity to maybe potentially go on Love is Blind.
I don't know, but when people ask my advice before going on these shows, one of the things I say the most to them is be very careful about like your dating life and leading up to going on these shows because that it will come up. And like if a show is about getting married or engaged, like your intentions about like taking this experience seriously will be questioned. It's like it always has been.
I don't think Lauren has shown us any inkling that she hasn't taken this seriously.
I don't think that they're gonna make it.
I don't think they're gonna make it either.
Danielle wasn't following Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor checked the unfollowers app.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of drama.
Where did
for
that all
nothing.
come? There's a lot of drama that went nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna come full circle though.
I think she freaked out and had like a panic.
Now, are you referring to the time where like episode 5 started and she's like half looking and then like she's like, I don't know, I have so many followers and then she just kind of stopped?
No, she said, "Oh my God, so many people have
The fact
unfollowed
that she
me."
has that app tells me more than I need to know.
Literally.
It does, but also I'm reading into the teaser a lot, but there's like a clip of a blonde woman, it could be anybody, but I'm assuming it's Taylor, in the wedding dress crying walking back to the car after walking into the room. And that to me is giving maybe she found out that he actually was there.
Or they just were like, he just was like, yeah.
Or that
too.
Or he was too short.
You accused me of
Like a
stalking?
typical like, hey.
Well, to your point, I wonder if, well,
There's no other blonde right now. So that's why I'm like,
Sarah.
if they're
Oh,
not
true.
together, if Danielle and Taylor aren't getting together at the reunion, it'll be interesting if she's like, actually, I went back and he was following me.
She's like, now I've had more time to look,
Yeah.
and I was able.
one
to
of the
scroll
mutuals
through.
saw him and was like, that's the man.
It was actually TikTok.
Does he not look kind of like JoJo Siwa?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
my favorite, though.
He does.
Yeah, no, I can't unsee it.
They like all like
He does.
everyone's
deeply.
putting all these men in the same thing, and they're being like, this is the exact same man. Like it's Amazon Prime. It's like
Mhm.
Shein.
Yeah. It's 2-day
Wish,
delivery.
Temu. It's like
Yeah.
they're
There's no
all-
facial hair.
Virginia wanted a prenup. That was one of the other things.
Good for her.
Good for her.
You're on
Yeah,
Love
I
is
agree.
Blind. Get the prenup on Love is Blind.
You met him 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they should all sign prenups.
Yeah.
100%.
His family, though,
The
was kind
prenup
of
online.
like questioning it.
It's weird to have an issue with that when you literally have just met them.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, we don't
And
know
it
anything
seems-
about
It's like,
each
hey,
other.
babe,
It's
it
also
might
giving
not
it-
work out.
It's also
Like,
giving at
that's-
this point she
No
has more
way.
money than him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a nicer place. She wants to be a millionaire soon.
or doesn't understand like maybe she's giving Tom Schwartz, who
Schwartz.
like wanted a prenup and
For
he,
his $200.
and he had $200 to his name. Maybe
yeah.
he just like
I think she walked into his apartment, saw a studio with
Shoes.
500 pairs of $700 shoes, and was like, we're not giving financially responsible.
the way they talk about her age on this show
It's
is wild.
crazy.
She's 33 years old. She's an absolute stunning of a human being.
Right.
And they talk about her as if she is
Signing up for AARP
74 years
card
old.
tomorrow.
Like it's how old is he? 3 years younger?
28, 29.
That's
Crazy.
Why do they just talk? Why are they making this age gap thing such a storyline?
That's true, yeah.
There is
He
no
looks-
age gap.
That's
He
true.
looks 10 years older than me.
He looks 45.
Yeah.
Because when they talk about the high school, she's like, we weren't in the same class. We wouldn't have been there at the same time. And it's like, 3 years is not that big of a difference.
Yeah, like babe, you're a senior.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a freshman.
Is she making it more of a big deal, or is he-
She's joked about like how people see her as like a young person. She's like, well, I'm actually a successful doctor. But then they're also using that storyline as a way to like.
She's also only 33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you a big issue that I have that I just can't get over.
What is that?
Monica's story about how she leaves piles of clothes just stashed in her closet to
The
put it
spider.
on with a spider
This was
nest.
giving Nick and Natalie share a cup.
Is
The
it?
sock, the communal sock.
I'm
Kimmy
sorry.
Rosa.
I'm going to be so honest with y'all. I really do skip through Monica and Joey because I just can't.
Well, she said that she
they're
likes
kinda
to leave her
cute.
clothes in a pile and like she doesn't fold them, but they're clean. And that she said one time she put on a pair of jeans and saw this like white stuff in her crotch. So it's like, yeah, you know what you're thinking it is. And then she goes and then saw something crawl out of it. And it comes out that it was like a wolf spider who
What the
built
fuck?
a nest in the crotch of her pants.
She said this on TV.
She said
Yes,
this on
she did.
national television.
Because she would wash her clothes and just throw it on the floor and then pick her clothes from the floor.
Ew.
Yeah. Well, Joey was like,
How
we
is she-
can't do this. We have to, you know.
Well,
He's like, we're going to fix this. And
She's
fold-
filthy.
And Joey, who
Liter-
you're not expecting, likes to like fold his clothes. He likes to put everything away.
I did see the way he folded t-shirts, and that was
Nick?
yeah. It's like you're putting too much fucking effort into it.
He also
Like,
said he's like gotten over OCD in the past. So
I don't think he's gotten over it whatsoever. The way he was folding those t-shirts was very much
Give
giving
Mary
OCD.
Kondo.
Yeah.
Oh, when she was like, "You don't like that fold," he's like, "I did not like that fold."
I did see that. I did see that. I did also see the part where he was very much. She was like, "They're worried that like you're not good enough for me," and he was like, "Do they think anyone is ever going to be good enough for you?" And she was like, "No."
Her sister.
Her
Yeah.
sister, like
Your
that was
sister.
awful.
Worst.
There's real projection
I was like,
city.
I agree
Yeah.
with him.
Mhm.
It was-
Oh, when she was like,
I'm supposed to get married. first.
yes, when she
Yeah.
was like, "I'm supposed," but I guess it should be you. Like the sabotaging your sister's relationship because you're not in a relationship and gonna get married.
That's
That sends some distic shit.
Well, also, isn't the
shit.
sister's boyfriend
Monica's ex.
Monica's ex-boyfriend?
Ish.
Well, or like
What
they
about-
didn't date. They went on like 2 dates or
Yeah,
something, and
not
then
really, but-
and then they weren't into
Oh.
each other, and then she ended up with.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Which
but
is
that
like-
gave me like douche pimples. I'm like, there's got to be more people in your life than to be dating somebody that your sister dated.
Well, the problem I really had with it, it's like, whatever, don't like your sister's boyfriend or whatever, have a problem with the show, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But she was basically accusing Joey of being manipulative, and she was like, he clearly says things because he's saying the right things. She accused him of lying and
being an actor.
And being an actor and being disingenuous. Like that's a pretty strong accusation.
Especially for 30 minutes of meeting someone.
Yeah.
And he's just being kind to your family.
Solely based off the fact that you're not about to get married.
Yeah.
And your younger sister is.
No, and she was like, he's not your type. Your type's a 6'5" Italian model. And even she was like, is that not everybody's
and
type?
She's like, and then she's like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that. And her sister's like, well, I think you should hold out. First of all, 6'5", specifically, first of all, take out any type of ethnicity or preferences around that or occupation, but 6'5".
Yeah.
How many, what's the percentage of men that are 6'5"?
It says less than 1%.
Less than 1%. Now, what were her other qualifications?
Italian model.
How many of them, now just Italian,
Percentage of Italian men?
over 6'5"? Compared, no, listen, it's
going to be nothing.
Less than 1%.
Less than 0.5%.
The average Italian
Less
male
than
height
1%.
is around 5'9", and it is very uncommon to find men exceeding 6'5" in Italy.
So already a rarity in general for the entire nation.
Yeah.
But her sister is earnestly telling her sister to forego this guy who seems to be pretty nice and have a really good chemistry with her. Seems to be a really a real gentleman.
Even Andrea Denver from Summer House, Italian model, 6'2".
He's 6'2".
So even then, the one Italian model I know off the top of my head does not hit 6'5".
Not
What did
6'5".
y'all think of the Sarah and Ben? There's some girl who posted a TikTok crying, and she apparently was with you, and he's.
I
like,
wouldn't
"That
be
was 4 years
surprised if there
ago."
was a DM here or there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this
What-
one was
see,
weird.
I was a little
His
confused
reaction
by
was
this.
weird.
Yeah, it was the reaction to more so where it was kind of cagey, yeah, I don't know why she posted it, but I've seen it, so I don't need to watch it again.
So who
Weird
posted
that
TikTok?
he saw it. Some girl that apparently used to be in involvement with Ben. She posted a TikTok, I guess, whenever they announced that the Minneapolis is filming.
I feel like I heard
and
about
she
this way
was
back in the day when it happened.
Probably.
I
And
brought
she was
it up before, yeah.
crying and being like, these men, blah, 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 blah. I don't know exactly what she said. She didn't show the video.
Well,
Do you have
his
it?
side of the story, Ben said they met on Tinder, never hooked up. In quotes, I just honestly don't remember. It was 4 years ago and it was a short amount of time. But
Yeah.
she's claiming that they were full on in a relationship, hooking up, and then he just ghosted her.
Yeah.
And that there were
So-
a lot of DMs, and that's where he's like, well, there might be a DM or two. I don't know.
But she always DM'd me, is what he said.
Yeah.
Who
So
do you
but what
believe?
does that even mean?
Exactly.
I
I don't
think
know.
As Sarah
don't have
said,
enough
there's
information
definitely
yet.
going to be more that comes out. And she was like, you better tell me everything right now, because if more comes out, I will not trust you.
Yeah, yeah.
And it looked like he had the fear of God in his eyes. And he was like,
But it's a little tough if let's say you believe his story of it being 4 years ago. If someone says, listen, if anything comes out, no matter what, I will never believe you. And he's this is a person who, based on his story, is already coming out saying shit. I could see why he still has a look of yeah, I mean, I don't think anything's gonna come out, but fuck,
on Ben's behalf, it was 4 years ago. I don't remember stuff that has happened 4 years ago. Especially if to him it was such a blip of a relationship. Clearly to her, it was more if she's saying that they were full on dating or whatever. I do think it's weird that he was already aware of this TikTok video and didn't bring it up to Sarah.
And that
She
he
had to
blocked
find
her.
it on her own. And that he went on a blocking spree and did not bring it up to his fiance. Wasn't like, hey, so there's a TikTok out there. This girl I was with 4 years ago.
it's a
She's
little
upset.
weird, but I can at least empathize with why he was unsure about the time. Doesn't have his phone on him. I don't know. These people are so
No, they were out. He had
Yeah,
this-
but they're
he
still,
had his phone enough to
no,
go and block her.
No, I get it. I mean, but I'm saying they're in this science experiment. I just think you guys don't really appreciate just the mind fuck that it is to be in this social experiment that they're in. So to criticize their choices they're making in it, I think it's easy from our position to be like, he should have said this, and he probably should have. I think it's a weird thing to call someone your fiance, which I get. They are engaged. They're about to get married. Who's also someone you didn't know 3 weeks ago. It's just a mind fuck. It's a weird thing, and I don't think there's a right answer. He was probably hoping there could have been a producer being like, I don't know, she's fucking crazy. This shit always happens all the time. It's not a thing. Like, don't bring it up. There's how many times have I brought up to things to like friends or girlfriends at the time, and they were like, why'd you tell me that? You know, like I didn't need to know that, you know, and it was an earnest attempt to be honest.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. Like post Bachelor, like after I was the Bachelor and I was in a relationship, there was things that I really wanted to be transparent and honest. And there was a lot of things where it was like, I didn't need to know that. Thanks for telling me. And it'd be, you know, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that simple.
I do think it's weird that these people are trying to make such big deals out of what these people were doing before going on the show.
I think there's a lot not going on this season.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing
like I don't care
drama
that
out
Ben
of
was in a
nothing.
relationship 4 years ago and ghosted the girl. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
4
I don't
years
care
ago.
that Lauren was fucking a guy before she went on the show. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
Well, 4 years ago.
they didn't even have sex, he says.
Even if they did, you met on Tinder.
It's hard when you say like this never happened and you're like, well, I don't remember.
Traitors.
Traders. Well, we'll keep it short and sweet because we do have Martin Kove coming up here momentarily. But like, I think my biggest takeaway is if I go on Traitors if I ever get the opportunity, I don't think I'll be able to give this many shits like Danielle and Carolyn.
Yeah, I mean, the performance from Danielle when Carolyn got voted out was the most.
I imagine they're going to be sad. You know, like I get they're sad, I get they're excited, but like they're really leaning into this being like life or death.
I was
I mean,
so betrayed.
You got a
It's a
traitor
game.
out.
Yeah.
Why you're breaking
It's a-
down in tears.
It's a game show.
Danielle specifically is the one doing too much.
doing too much.
Well, according to Chriselle, who was here last week, I mean, the fact that she's swearing on family members.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I won't do if I go on Traitors. Like, I don't care if I'm a faithful. I don't care if I'm a traitor. If you ask me to swear on my kids, I'm like, fuck you.
I
Like,
think the
no.
fact that they
Yeah.
didn't air any of that is more
Exactly.
telling. Like, why are they protecting Danielle in that sense? Like, why wouldn't air that? That's something that, like, I'm sure people would love to hear. The
And I-
audience.
I think they appreciate how intense she is. I think they appreciate just how, like, giving of the moment, like, they're leaning into. And I think for them to, like, air that would make, you know, Danielle is making excellent TV. She's been, I mean, yeah, we can debate whether it's kind of shady
hard to
s-
watch.
swear on your kid. It's hard to watch.
I don't hate Danielle as much ever. as
I think
much
she's
as
a
everyone else
savage.
does.
I mean, like, hard to watch, whatever,
Yeah.
but she's an absolute fucking savage. You know, we all like fawned over Boston Rob. Well, fuck, man, he's a distant memory. She's outlasted all the traitors. She's like, no one thinks she's a traitor. I mean, no one thought Caroline was a traitor. And the way like Danielle set up Caroline and like absolutely just eviscerated her was just really, I mean, fuck, man, she's just fucking a killer.
I have two thoughts. I think nobody thinks she's a traitor because of what she said that they cut out, that they're like, there's no way. Like,
She's that-
apparently Dolores said there's no way anybody would like swear on their grandchildren. Like, it's not worth it. And then also, it's like they're all gone. All the other traitors are gone because Danielle decided to be me before you and sabotage everybody else.
Yeah.
So
No, you're
it's
right.
like,
You're
so
absolutely
she
right
ruined the
about
game.
that.
She made it all about
And
herself.
it makes sense that if she's going to what's her name?
Do you
Brittany.
Brittany.
think she told Brittany she's a traitor?
She's recruiting her for sure.
Do you
Well,
think
yeah, we know
before?
that.
Do you think
Yeah.
before she recruited her, she went to Brittany and was like,
No.
"Hey,
No.
I think-
I'm
No,
telling
and
you."
I think
I'm
Brittany knows
genuine-
she's a traitor.
I think Brittany suspects now that I think she knows now before the season, the episode ended before like Danielle took off her hood. I think she even said if like it'd be obvious. I think she definitely is expecting Danielle to be underneath that hood.
Yeah.
But I don't think she told her. And I think Danielle, based on what we heard about Chriselle, is that like if that's all true, Danielle is like seriously worried about like her being like, I think she realizes she said some crazy shit and that's what's protecting her.
Mm-hmm.
And she deserves to I mean, I don't know. Like maybe we should no longer believe people who say things like that.
After the season, I think everybody's going to be
I
like,
swear
don't
to
trust.
God, I don't believe in God, you know, like
Well,
See,
Oh
that's the
yeah,
thing.
didn't Bob the drag queen say that?
I think
Oh yeah,
Danielle
but
was-
he was doing a whole. And anyone that knows Bob, like as soon as he said that, me being a fan of Bob, I knew exactly where that was going. I knew it was a joke.
I think Danielle was probably trying to do what Bob
Well, maybe
did.
she's a-
but
telling a joke.
yeah.
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 I mean, I don't know Danielle
That's
outside of the
okay.
show, but I
Maybe
know Bob
Danielle,
from other
like
shows.
maybe for all we know, in Danielle's family or circle of friends, they think swearing on family members is the dumbest fucking thing. It means nothing, and it's something people do. And they're like, sure, I swear on my fucking cousins, because who gives a fuck? Because like none of that matters, and they're not superstitious people, and they think it's stupid.
So why wouldn't they air it?
I was going to say, yeah.
Because they still want to protect. Because
Yeah.
I think they still want to protect their traitors, and they still want to protect how crazy everyone's losing their minds, and it makes it more dramatic. If we knew that Danielle said that, we would be like, that's why people aren't suspecting Danielle, as opposed to like being more like, why aren't people suspecting Danielle? It makes for better TV.
Yeah, because Traitors operates on a way of like, the fun of Traitors is watching everyone look stupid. When you know who the traitors are and you get to watch people like look a traitor right in the face and not realize they're a traitor, it's incredible because you believe that you're watching people be dumb.
Yeah, well, Tom and Dolores.
I was gonna say, I love that they just keep throwing their votes and voting for each
Yeah.
other. It's like, girl, like, what is going on here?
The most
Nobody.
delusional thing.
It's so petty.
awesome.
So true, though. Listen, I heard what everybody else had to say, but you know what?
I don't like
I just
you.
don't trust you, Tom. It's you.
They're always like, I don't have enough evidence.
Every
And
week.
they both know the other one is a faithful.
No,
is the
but
best
they're
part.
both saying it like they believe that the other person's a traitor.
Yeah.
100%.
They just want the other one gone.
Like at this point, it's Ivor, Gabby, and Dylan
I
at the
think-
table. It's like everybody else is just throwing their votes for no reason.
Well, Gabby seems like she's like on to it and
she
catching
is.
on what's happening. So I'm hoping she
I worry for
executes
her.
before she gets executed.
I worry for her every day.
Danielle and Caroline made a huge mistake by not recruiting Gabby as a traitor. The fact that it was Brittany or nobody.
Right.
Caroline's not wrong though. If they recruited Brittany, she would've been-
Caroline was absolutely right for saying no. Danielle was absolutely wrong for being anyone but her.
Yeah, well, that's on Danielle.
Well, although she did, I don't
Well,
know, or not. She got her way.
Isn't
Yeah.
the lore that on Big Brother, it was Danielle and Brittany, and then Brittany backstabbed Danielle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, what do you think about forgetting
So
about?
she's
I know
gonna do
we're
it
all
again.
coming at Danielle here for like swearing on her kids. Little fucked up of Carolyn to go to Dylan and be like, "This is why people like judge me and not take me seriously." Make Dylan feel
that's
fucking
true.
bad
Yeah,
about
she
like people
did.
not believing
'Cause
her.
that's the thing. This is all a game of manipulation.
That's what I'm saying.
But
So like, who
Carolyn
gives a
was
fuck?
Carolyn was speaking her truth though. Like that is true.
But
She's
she
like, I'm
isn't-
always seen as the quirky, weird person, and people don't take me
But-
seriously. So
but-
that's true.
but
It's
she
not
was
my
a
fault.
traitor.
But she was leaning into that narrative to protect herself.
Yeah.
But I didn't
And
tell.
then going to Dylan and making him feel like he had judged her in a wrong way. And what he did, he started picking up on her dishonesty, and then she made him feel bad for it.
I
Dude,
don't think
her
it
reaction
does.
at the chess thing when they were like, Dolores was like, "Oh well, like you kept like Carolyn, you were saying Tom, you were on it," and she was like, "No, I didn't. I
No,
didn't
I
say that."
didn't.
Yeah.
If she just would have been like, "Well, he was really pitching himself. I don't know. He really was convincing me."
Yeah.
Like
That-
it would have
yeah.
played so much better, but because she was like, "Huh? No, what? Me? I
She
didn't say
chose-
I
that."
didn't say anything.
She
In that
certainly
moment, Dylan's
choked.
like, "Oh shit,
Here we
it's
are.
Carolyn."
I think
Yeah.
her saying that she's been bullied in the past is not the same as swearing on your grandchildren.
I agree.
I don't.
I also think both of them don't really matter because it's TV.
Oh, it's also a total fucking game.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
It's
Total
chill as
game.
fuck. But
Like-
if we're gonna call Danielle out, I think Caroline is no different.
And also, like, am I wrong? But like, if I were gonna recruit somebody as a traitor, I'm recruiting Dylan.
No, because then it's like Pete where he turns it down.
I don't think he had the option to turn it down.
They're not
It
allowed.
was either you turn
They
it down
did.
or you go
Before
home.
they were, now they're not.
Murdered.
Yeah,
They-
this one, they
The second one though, or the first
No.
one before.
No,
The
I
one
think you're wrong.
yeah.
Now that
changed it.
Caroline's gone, it's just, Brittany does not have the option.
But before-
I believe
they did,
they did.
but this
Yeah,
one
that's
they
what I'm saying.
don't. So that's what I'm saying is that I'm like,
Dylan
I
would
would
have
have.
had the option.
Oh, true though. Well, but it's the Danielle show. She doesn't care about.
That's
the
what
other
I'm saying.
people.
I'm like, we're like the most like unsuspecting person that everybody knows is a faithful. Like, why would you not want to recruit that guy?
Force him.
You
to
know,
be-
it forces
Also,
him.
everyone thinks that both traitors are girls right now. So why would you not grab a guy and flip that?
It's because she knows Brittany's going to go to bat for her.
Yeah.
So Brittany's going to be the deflection.
But I don't think Brittany's actually going to go to bat for her because at the end of the day, they all want to win.
Yeah,
So Brittany's going to cut her throat just like she did on Big Brother.
Brittany's done it before. She'll do it again.
Exactly.
I hope she does.
I'm really excited to watch what happens next.
We'll see. Well, up next, we have a very endearing conversation with Martin Kove. You know him from the hit series Cobra Kai, also from the Karate Kid movies. He has some great, endearing stories, obviously, about his time on Cobra Kai. It was a great chat with Martin. I look forward to you listening to it, and that is up next.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I'm working on now.
Can I take it out of this?
Yeah, sure.
What is this? Oh, is this a comic book?
That's a graphic novel of 4 issues of a comic book called The Prodigal Son that we're developing into a series. And there's a convention in Glendale. In Glendale, this coming week, and then I'll be signing there, and I own it, and we're going to do it as a series. It's about a gunfighter that I'll play who's killed everything, and there's a 12-year-old kid that he bonds with, and they exchange moral fiber between them, and they each learn how to be human. The kid learns how to be a survivalist, and I learn how to be a human being.
So that's your character right there.
Yeah. If you open it up full, you'll see. Well, the character is all through the book. He's the lead, and he's the man in black, and they're both on a mission to get this bad gang that I at one time ran, and I was ostracized by my son, who in real life my son will play the leader of the gang.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a good story. It's very much like John Kreese in Cobra Kai,
Wow.
So we should
How long did it take you to write that?
I wrote all the broad strokes, the treatments for each 4 issues. One of my partners, Don Hanfield, he wrote the dialogue in the comic, in the captions. And then we had an artist do the artwork.
Wow.
It was beautiful artwork.
Yeah, it's really incredible artwork.
Oh yeah, and it kind of you can see you in there a little bit.
Oh yeah, they was. I find that the comic book world doesn't care what you look like. So in a couple of issues, you could see it's Martin Kove. A couple of issues, you would know if it's me or Elvis Costello.
Sure.
I mean, it's like, and they don't care. It explained to me that it's at the hands of the artist, and I don't really, I'm a comic book collector of TV and movie comic books, 60s Westerns and all, but we'll talk about this during the thing. Yeah.
Well,
we're kind of already
Are
talking
we
about
recording?
it now. Yeah, we're recording. We just
Martin Kove, everybody.
Yeah, Martin Kove, everybody. I'm very excited to have you, man. I've been a fan of the Karate Kid franchise since I was a kid. Karate Kid 2 might be one of my favorites. That opening scene, where you're punching through the glass, it was very cool. Obviously, Cobra Kai coming out, so very excited to have you. Very, very cool for me.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
younger me was I get very excited when I have guests like yourself on this show. I kind of started the show and then never thought I'd have people that I've known my whole life and just was fans of and watched as a kid growing up. So it's very cool.
It's interesting when that happens. It's like when I was Sean Connery stand-in 1972 in a movie called The Anderson Tapes, and I just started acting, and there I was working with Sean Connery, and I was a glorified extra. It was called a photo double. You stand in, line up a shot.
Sure.
It was like my second year in the business, and the most fascinating thing I learned from him, and he was working with lots of actors then who were very popular, who are gone now, Martin Balsam, Jack Warden, just Diane Cannon, and I learned how to listen from this guy. It was really interesting. He had a plot to rob this Fifth Avenue building, and he had to get a lot of people's cooperation. And the greatest thing that I learned from Sean Connery, being there for 6-8 weeks, was how to listen in a scene.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy. I bumped into him years later, played tennis with him over here in Motor Avenue opposite Fox, and it was great.
Did you win?
Yeah, who won?
Well, it was a very funny story. We can't really tell it aloud here because there's a lot of cursing.
You can curse.
You can curse here?
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you, but we allow it. Yeah.
So we're playing I bump into him. This is like 15 years later. And I finished Cagney and Lacey, and I finished Karate Kid 1. And, I was a little established. And I said, Sean, do you remember me? And he's looking, he's looking for a tennis game. And this is probably 85, I think. And he says, no. And I said, well, okay. We want to hit. And we're hitting. And he's hitting everything into the net. Over my head. He played terribly. He had a bad back, and tennis wasn't his game. He played golf. So every time he hit the ball over the net, he screamed, fuck, bitch, son of a fucker, screaming out loud. And I'm dying. I'm dying on the other end of the court, hysterical, because I'm saying to myself, shit, I'm playing tennis with James Bond and he curses just like me.
Yeah.
And it was the height of the day, He was a good guy, Really good guy. And
Did you finally tell him how y'all knew each other after the game?
No, I asked if he remembered me at the very top of when we chatted
Yeah.
at the beginning when I saw him, he was looking for a game. And he didn't remember me. And I said, Sean, do you remember me? I was just standing. And he says, nope. But do you want to play? So,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's good.
Isn't that great how, like, we remember those stories from so long ago and they stick with us, and, just hearing how you even got into acting, and here you are now so many years later replaying a character that was so iconic in like the 80s. It just it always sticks with you. It's always fun to hear those like throwback stories.
The character was, a very one-dimensional character in the movies. But when we did the series, I did not want him to be anything really but vulnerable and have an arc and have a lot of colors in his emotional colors, and people to learn why he was the way he was in the movies, tough, hard, one-dimensional, and they did it. They wrote those things. And it made me feel really good, especially in the end, season 6, where he has, there's so many people that there are so many interviews. My son reads me all the interviews, and there's so many. I guess they're not really interviews; they're actually criticisms or appreciation in the sense of a review of the final season. And all they wanted to see more of what happened to me. They wanted to have more development of the redemption.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I thought that was really good because it made me feel like, well, Johnny Lawrence is the lead of the show, but that this tough guy had enough redemption through the season, because 6 is good for the character. And he had enough redemption that people wanted more of that. And it wasn't something you saw in the character because he was tough. He was very moral, but it was his way or the highway, a very impatient character. And a lot of those residual effects that playing John Kreese stayed with me for a long time. You finish 5 years, 5 months a year, 4 months a year. And some of that darkness was hard to rub off. It was,
Yeah. Were there people like in the height with Karate Kid the movies playing this villainous character that was so kind of rugged? I mean, John Kreese was a really good bad guy in the best possible way, but I imagine fans of the franchise, did they treat you a certain way sometimes? Were they kind of confused, John versus Martin?
I would go to Malibu and be in the supermarket, and I'd all of a sudden get nailed in the lower back, like punched hard.
What?
And it was a little kid. I'll never forget it. It was a little kid, and it was in the market basket, I think, in Malibu years ago. And he nailed me, and he looked at me, and he says, "You hurt Ralph."
Oh, no.
And then I was like, I couldn't do anything because the kid was a little kid. He hit me so hard, right in the gut and the lower in the hip. And, people were affected by that. They really thought that he was so one-dimensional, so tough. I remember John Avildsen coming to me. I tried to smile a little bit in the Karate Kid 1 movie. And he came up to me and he says, "Martin Kove, I don't want the Marty Kove charm. I don't want the twinkle. I want death." So I said, okay. Now I just finished a lovely movie for his son, Ash Avildsen, which it's a terrific little movie. And it's called The Queen of the Ring, about the first female wrestler. And I play a character with a lot of vulnerability, with a lot of enjoyment of the female warrior. And I give, wrestling, women in wrestling world were not allowed to wrestle until you couldn't wrestle in California or New York until 1972.
Wow.
So women in the 40s and 50s and 60s, I was the promoter, the wrestling commissioner, actually. And I played this character. And not until the 50s did he give this woman, her name was Mildred, a license to wrestle, because this wasn't happening. And he truly believed that women could wrestle and it could be a good entertainment. And he did it, and he promoted it and helped her get started in the Midwest. And then it all exploded and she became, very wealthy. And I guess the point of no return for women in that sport. you know, because she went ahead and wrestled men. And so it was cool.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so it's really funny. You come full circle. You know, his father had me playing this one-dimensional, you know, soldier of death. And, you know, and then now I'm playing. Last year, did this movie, and Ash is a wonderful writer, and you know, John's gone, but Ash directed and wrote this wonderful film.
Do you find the vulnerable characters to be harder to play than the one-dimensional ones, just because you kind of have to channel some of your own vulnerabilities sometimes versus just kind of playing a bad guy, or they both equally have its challenges?
Well, they both equally have their challenges, but you know, in my work, I'll go back into personal situations, which I can, if I have to play something very vulnerable, like with Johnny Lawrence at the end, anytime it's vulnerability, I bring into some personal situations, whether it be with family or my ex-girlfriend who, you know, we were together for like 7 years and broke up 12 times. And it was very volatile. You know, it was like always like this. So there was a lot to draw from. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those emotions were emotions that were, you know, impatience and my way or the highway, all the stuff that came out of John Kreese. So it like rubbed Martin Kove, and then Martin Kove was allowed to use it and personalize it for other things involving the character, per se, vulnerability, per se, sadness. And so it's kind of was interesting because you could use a residual emotion gathered by the character and then ultimately use it in real life if it works for you or not, and then use it again when you have to be vulnerable and kind and soft and gentle. Yeah. So it was quite an interesting ride with this character. And my new project, Prodigal Son, is the character is very similar. And I look forward to that, to doing it as a series. You know, an old gunfighter set in his ways like John Kreese, you know, with a 12-year-old kid who could be like a Johnny Lawrence, and learning, each of them exchanging moral fiber with each other, learning how to be survivalists and a human being. See, today I don't think kids have any heroes. I think when I grew up in the 60s, there were 35 Westerns. You're both too young for that, but there were 35 Westerns on primetime TV. Wow. So you could choose your heroes. Then you had movies in the 50s and 60s. You had movies with John Wayne about films like The Searchers, who I modeled my character, John Kreese, after, because, you know, John Wayne played a real son of a bitch in that movie. And it was a great film. One of John Ford's best Westerns. I just want to leave a legacy of kids having heroes. So when I go out, I know I've left the children a choice of having, you know, a hero. And I think they'll look at this boy in the Prodigal Son. It's a great comic book. There's 4 issues in that graphic novel. Wow. And this week we'll go to the comic convention and I'll see the climate for everything.
That's awesome. Is this in production already?
No, it's not in production because we're looking for a showrunner right now.
Okay.
Right off the press. It's the graphic novel that I own that was 4 issues, and the 4 issues will hit the stores. And this is a comic book convention of all the owners of comic book stores. So it's here in Los Angeles.
How did you find out that they were creating Cobra Kai and bringing back kind of the Karate Kid universe? Was that a shock to you, or did you hear rumblings of it? It'd been so many years since, you know, the movies were out. What was that like for you to hear that concept that they were coming out with this series?
William Zabka told me, and they, you know, went to Billy and went to Ralph and hired and got them aboard. And then, you know, they came to me. It's a funny story. They told me they wanted me to be in the 10th episode of season 1 to attract people to watch season 2. And they were afraid to tell me this because they were so taken by the toughness of this character that they thought I would kick their ass.
That was you.
In the restaurant. We went to Dan Tanner's down there. And they literally told it on the podcast. That was my children and myself. We had a podcast for a while. And they came as guests, all 3 writers, Josh, John, and Hayden. And they said, we thought you were going to kick our ass because we wanted you to come in and see episode 10 instead of episode 5 or 6, which is what I wanted to come in on. I thought it was really funny that they admitted to that and they felt that. I never felt it at the meeting, and it kind of made sense. Come in episode 10, set up, season 2. And it did, because no one thought I'd return. This 30 years and then the real story's only just begun.
No, it's,
It's my favorite line. So it was very interesting. And they made the deal, because they were different. You take so many hit movies, try to be television series, and they fail.
Oh, yeah.
And this one was through the eyes of Johnny Lawrence. It was different. And everybody, YouTube liked it, gave him an order for 10. And then when YouTube did not want any more original programming, 2 years later, we had shown massive numbers. And especially it was during COVID, so everybody was home. And the show became a phenomenon on television. And then ultimately, Netflix bought it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. A lot of times when they do like a remake of a movie, it's, they're just kind of redoing it. Where like Cobra Kai, you're right. It's a whole different avenue, a whole different angle. And like, it's really fascinating to see like these characters like Johnny and John, who are just like, you had this strong opinion about who they were when you watched those movies. And then to see the other side, the empathy, or just what created them to be the certain way. And then, Ralph's character, and then, you see flaws in that character, where in the movie, he was like the golden boy and this kind of righteous character. It's way more captivating that way. It'd be interesting to see if there's other shows or movies out there where they learn from Cobra Kai and kind of take that approach rather than trying to just recreate a movie and adapt it to a TV series.
My son showed me a 15-minute pilot that he did, and the writing was brilliant. And I don't remember the author's name, but he had written many, many books. And this was a 15-minute pilot, very similar to, Jack Reacher,
Yeah.
And it was brilliant, though. And why was it brilliant? Because of the writing. Because the writing, every line, and I looked at it on an iPad. I said, Jesse, this is fantastic. And he did it a while ago. And without the written word, without the writing of Cobra Kai, I talk about it on interviews all the time, we wouldn't have had the success. You could be, John Kreese, Johnny Lawrence, Ralph Macchio coming out of a hit movie, sure. But you have to perform and come to the table with the good writing for all the other characters, for our personal problems. You've got to come with development. And these cats knew everything about our character 2 years in advance. So they knew where you were going to go. After season 1, I met with mercenaries. I met with Army Rangers. I met with everyone that could have met John Kreese in the field. Made notes on a legal yellow pad, 5 pages of notes. Went to lunch. Everything I had on my notes, they already knew. The flashbacks to introduce this character in a certain way, in a snake pit, killing his captain, they knew it all. They had it all planned out in their head. There was nothing I could say. None of my notes were pertinent. And I was, I made a lot of notes because I always thought Karate Kid was my show. So if you treat it that way, then, you make an abundance of notes. And Cagney and Lacey, I always thought it was Cagney, Lacey, and his Becky, which is the character's name, It also was a good show. And I think that show, Cagney and Lacey, was marvelous and would have been a big hit today. It was ahead of its time back in the 80s, But, I've been lucky enough to be part of some really good stuff.
How do you feel like Cobra Kai connected with its audience? Like, do you have, I know when you were back in the day, you got punched by a little kid, but did you have any better moments with some of the younger fans of Cobra Kai, and you felt like you resonated, or it spoke to them in a certain way?
Certainly, you go to a Comic-Con, and I used to ask people, "Why do you like the show?" And they say, "Well, the kids watch the show," and then we go up to them and say, "Would you like to see the movies that we grew up on with the same characters?" And the kids say, "Well, okay, Daddy." They all go and they watch the movies, and the kids love the movies. All the family will gather around the TV to watch Cobra Kai now. It's a family event.
Yeah.
So there aren't very many family events on television. So that's how it became popular from the beginning. And then people say, "You're the best villain on TV. We love to hate you." but when you got stabbed in the prison, you cried. So I said to myself, I don't want to be known as a villain. I really don't. And the mere fact that they cried, I actually did my job.
Yeah, you connected with them.
I connected with them. And certainly in the 6th season, lots of tears. That last scene with Billy is wonderful. They wrote great stuff. Sure, could I have been longer? Could you have seen me survive, the boat explosion? We shot a scene where you see my hand going to a magazine with just my ring and a cigar to be introduced into episode 15, the last bit. You don't see me, you would see that and assume I made it. But it was a little hokey to have that boat blow up the way it did, and 24 hours later I survived.
Smoking a cigar,
Smoking
reading a
a cigar.
magazine.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, too much. And I understood it when but in the articles you see people saying, well, John Kreese always survives everything. He says, why didn't someone throw him a lifeline? There was one picture of me being in the water, right? Someone AI'd it and me holding onto a lifeline in the water. It's funny. The reactions are enormous. Very popular.
That's awesome.
So you wish you can take that into, Prodigal Son, that kind of success. I'd love to have the writers be basically the showrunners of my friend Lincoln Lagerson is wonderful. He was a producer, the line producer on a variety of things, Rough Riders, and did a lot of Larry Levinson's movies, and did A Touch of Love for Hallmark for a picture that my son started. And I play a restaurateur. And I like those kind of movies, even though it wasn't real schmaltzy like a Hallmark movie. It was about love and food. And I like to be able to do that again, have the emotionality of what I displayed in the final season utilized in other characters.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Characters that are not bad guys.
Are you sad to see it come to an end? Or are you more excited about what this success of Cobra Kai can allow you to do? Like you just kind of talked about some of these other characters that you'd love a chance to play more of.
Yeah, it allowed me to just have a level of confidence in your instrument and your work, because anything practice makes perfect. So the mere fact you get a TV series, you can go act several times a week, no matter who you are, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
I tell that to my son, and he's really good. He has a movie out that I produced, which is a film called The Gunfighter's Deal. And it's the story of a coward in a Western town who makes a deal with the devil to be the fastest gun in the West. And then he tries to renege, and the devil says no. And it's a lovely little movie. We shot it about a year ago in Florida. And it's a Western. And it was just bought by the Shout Factory for distribution. And they're a Western organization. They were co-produced this movie on streaming called Old Henry about Billy the Kid. And they owned Stagecoach, the original John Ford Stagecoach from 1939, and all of Kenny Rogers' Westerns, the gambler ones. And they're just Western lovers, so they'll really nurse this piece, properly.
That's great, man. It's so fun to hear all these stories. Before we let you go, we have a fun game. I don't know. Do you like games?
Sure.
We I don't imagine you watch any reality TV.
No, I don't watch reality TV.
I assumed as much. Our audience likes
You're
a bit
missing
of,
out. You're missing out.
There are a lot of villains who are very, very
Yeah, you can
dynamic
channel
in
some
it.
character.
Yeah.
They have their villains, but we thought we'd play a fun game, a little crossover. Mary came up with this game. You want to tell them the name?
Yeah, it's called 80s Movie or Bravo Villain.
So the premise being like these iconic quotes. Did they come from a reality TV villain or an iconic 80s movie villain?
Yes.
And then you just have to guess. It's so simple.
All right.
All right.
All right. And so an 80s reality show villain?
No.
It'll be a modern day reality TV villain or an 80s
just
movie.
Yeah, 80s just movie.
Yeah,
Saying
80s
a
movie
reality present day
Yeah.
reality villain.
And you just have to
or an
guess.
80s villain.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we just show you a quote from either an 80s movie villain or a reality TV villain, and it's your job to guess who said it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first up, we have "Fuck me gently with a chainsaw. Do I look like Mother Teresa?"
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's a good line.
It's a good line.
Yeah, it's a very good line. Well, it's definitely an 80s movie because it wouldn't work on reality TV. So,
Mary.
You are correct. It was Heather Chandler from Heathers, 1988.
Okay.
Wow.
all right. So, do I say if it's like that an 80s movie?
Yeah,
Is
just
that the
80s
answer?
movie or
You know,
reality
Oh, so
TV
I
is
have to say
perfect.
who did it.
You don't have to guess
All
unless
right.
you know.
Unless I know.
Unless you know for
All right,
sure.
that's good. If I know, I know. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
And they can curse in reality TV. So
Oh,
they
no,
might
oh,
they
really?
might be
That
saying,
definitely
they
could
might
have
say
been-
fuck.
They
Yeah.
can curse in reality, even network reality TV.
They just
Mhm.
bleep it. Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
But
okay.
they say it a lot.
Okay. go ahead.
All right, next up we have "This town needs an enema."
This town needs an enema. It sounds like something from a reality show.
It's the Joker.
I thought
It's
it was
Jack
Angie
Nicholson.
Castaneda.
No, Angie Castaneda or Jack Nicholson in a Tim
You know,
Burton
now that you say that,
Batman
I
movie.
kind of remember
Yeah.
that line from the movie.
Oh, yeah, he has so many great lines.
That was a great
He does.
movie.
There was a movie that I always use as an example. It's an egotistical example. There's a movie called The Carnal Knowledge that he did back in '72,
Yeah.
and did it with Anne Margaret. And he's in the bedroom, and she's wailing, and she says, "I love you, I want you, I need you." And he says, and only the way Jack Nicholson could say it, like that line, you know, he says, "Well, I'm taken," and he's getting dressed to leave, and she's in the bedroom, and she wants him to just come back to bed, and he says, "I'm taken," and she says, "By who?" You know, as if she's jealous.
Yeah.
And what woman do you have? And he says, "By me." You know, it's a great line. And the way he delivers it, you know, it's like, "I'm taken by me." You know,
Really is the guy.
That's
All right.
awesome.
All right, next up we have "You can only get hurt so much before you get numb."
ooh, sounds like someone
Deep.
giving someone else psychological advice
Yeah.
about a relationship.
Mm.
Yeah, so we'll get reality TV.
That's correct. That was Teresa Giudice from The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Jersey.
Give me strength.
Look
Yeah.
at you. Look at
You're
you.
killing it.
Give me strength on all these.
All right, next up, "I am the devil, and don't you forget it."
Well, that could be Witches of Eastwick. I mean,
It could be.
Oh my gosh. Knows the name of the movie?
yeah, well,
Jack
I
Nicholson.
just watched it again.
Wait,
It's
no,
such a
that's-
good movie.
Did you? Oh.
You know that movie? Oh, no, it's a good movie. Jack Nicholson
So-
again plays the devil, and Cher,
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon, and Michelle Pfeiffer play three women in a little town, and he infects them because, and that line would work. "I am the devil, and don't you forget
It's
it."
an incredible
Okay, so let's just say a movie.
Okay.
It is not from the classic Witches of Eastwick. It is from Vanderpump Rules, said by Stassi Schroeder. All right, next
so
up.
close.
We have "You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say that's the bad guy."
I want
Ooh.
this to be reality TV. It's such a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, if we're cursing him reality TV,
Mhm.
it's definitely, yeah, reality TV.
All right. It's Tony Montana from Scarface.
Boy, these are tricky ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought this was going to be so much more easy. And then when I was making it, I was like, man,
Kind of hard.
it's
Tony
kind of hard.
Montana, yeah.
Tony
Yeah.
Montana.
All
There were
right.
so many classic moments in that movie. I
Yeah.
mean, just
This
classic.
one is definitely an 80s movie.
Yeah. Since you're
this.
new here, I'm going to cut you a break today.
All
So
right.
why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, what movie is that? Is that a Clint Eastwood? That's a Clint Eastwood line. Oh, no. Wait. Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's
Make
good.
like a tree
There
and
you
get
go.
out of here.
Ding, ding, ding. I
Biff.
love that picture of him.
Yeah.
Biff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Back to the Future too.
Part 2.
Yeah.
He says it in one. I just put part 2 because I wanted to put this picture of him in there because it makes me giggle.
Have you seen the
Um,
play? You know, this play. Last night we saw Harry Potter. Took the family to see Harry Potter. And Back to the Future's coming to Pantages.
Oh, it is?
And that's what I haven't seen it. I've seen Moulin Rouge 5 times.
Oh,
I just love Moulin Rouge.
it's incredible.
And I've seen it in Nashville. I've seen it in Tampa. You know, I just love Moulin Rouge. It's all about John Kreese. It's all about every line is about a relationship that didn't work out because of bad emotions, you know? And I think Moulin Rouge is brilliant because, and Back to the Future is supposed to be as good because they take lyrics from a variety of songs, whether it's Elton John, Tina Turner, whatever, and they'll take one lyric and put it into the dialogue of the show. Oh. And the show is all about, like the movie, you know, a romantic relationship. But it's better because you're right there, you know, and you just sit there and you cry. It's the best. Moulin Rouge, I hope it comes here again.
Yeah. Harry Potter was good?
Harry Potter was really good. You have to know Harry Potter, though. I mean, it goes fast.
Did you read the books?
Yeah, but the problem is, even when you read the books, what they depict on the stage, it's really a 2-day event in your life. In New York, it's 2 days. So here, they had to cut stuff and talk fast to get it all happening. And if you're not really well-versed in everything that's going on in all those movies or in the books, you know, you first of all, you got to sit in the third row because you got to watch the faces and hear what they're saying. And it's complicated, but it's done very well.
Okay.
Really good. You got to go see it.
Okay.
All right. Well, next up we have, if I give you a Chanel necklace and you choke on it, that's your problem, not mine.
Wow.
Chanel necklace. What does your gut tell you?
It's a reality show, my gut.
Your gut.
Chanel necklace.
It is. It's Lisa Barlow from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Lisa Barlow.
Mm-hmm.
Very
they
funny.
should make Salt Lake City into a musical. It would actually
Yeah, we
be
have
really, really
we've
good.
had talked to some actresses who are fans of these housewives, and they've been rich in character study. You know, they'll watch some of these shows and try to pull from, you know, when they're developing various characters that they're playing, they'll study some of these women. We've been told.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're rich with content.
Yeah. All right. Next we have, stop acting like you're the number one fucking guy in this group. I'm the number one guy in this group.
Jesus. Wow.
There's not a lot of.
Oh, you don't know who this is?
Hmm.
He wouldn't know, but you should know.
Well, that should tell you the answer.
Yeah, that could help, but it doesn't. I don't know this one.
All right.
Jax Taylor?
It's Jax Taylor from Vanderpump
There's
Rules.
a lot of reality in
Jax
this.
Taylor maybe could be an 80s movie villain. He does say a lot of things that you might see in a Biff from Back to the Future.
I have to do a PSA for mental health.
Please.
I have to go and do that. So I have to go to the other side of town and do it. A friend of mine, it's very interesting. It's a he's been asking me for years to do it, and it's amazing. If children don't get enough attention from birth all the way to 4, if they spend a lot of time watching TV or looking out the window or just not getting the support and love in those formative years, 68% of those children end up dropping out of high school.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah.
You know, we have a 1-year-old little girl.
Do you really?
We do.
Yeah.
Oh, mazel
So that
tov.
is
That's
Thank you.
great.
great.
Yeah,
That's
she just
great
turned
advice,
1.
yeah.
One, yeah, you got to, you know, I mean, yeah, I kind of knew that because we had tried for 5 years to have a baby. And my ex-wife was still very good friends. And we tried everything, you know, gift and frozen embryo transplants and in vitro. And finally we had twins. And after 5 years of attempting, and it was incredible. The kids are great, and a boy and a girl. And I think that's when my career slowed down in 1990. I also think that's when I decided not to be Steve McQueen anymore and try, you know, for 20 years of my career, I was doing Steve McQueen, you know, and then all of a sudden the kids happened and I felt like, well, I'm okay now. You know, I've got the kids, and I just sat there and watched in the crib, watched them sleep. I didn't even think about it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was 8 months and I got a movie in London. So I took the kids. I could not be without them. I took them with a nanny. In 1991, did a movie called The Shadow Chaser and went to Pinewood Studios and took a flat in Kew And I wouldn't leave them. I would just go back and watch these kids.
Aw.
Got them these little things they call bagels, and they can hold and walk with them and learn to walk, And I just spent more time with the kids than I ever on my career anymore. And then, of course, I realized I needed money. And I needed to go back to work.
Yeah, no, being a parent has been the most fulfilling, aspect
it's
of my
bad.
life, where it just makes everything else so
It's the best.
inconsequential.
It takes the focus, especially when we're sensitive as artists. Going to a job 9 to 5 is a different deal. But when you're an artist, you're usually a little more sensitive, and you have so much history that you use as an artist for whatever work you're doing, whether it be painting or poetry or acting, doesn't matter, or music. So we're so familiar with what it takes to grow up that we want to cultivate our children's lives so much more, I think, than the average person.
Yeah.
But in any case, I must go. And
get to your mental health.
I've got to go and do that.
Yeah.
This guy's been a good friend of mine. He produced Oxford Blues, this movie, and a lot of films. And I told him I promised him today, so I'd go.
We'll get out of here, man.
Yeah, I'm going to read from a teleprompter. It's a lot of stuff, so I don't have to learn anything. But I wanted to come by and say hello. And
Well, Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure having you, and thank you for the storytelling, and congratulations on an incredible career, and obviously the success of Cobra Kai, which, if you are listening, is it out now?
Yeah, season 6 premiered on Thursday, and it's on Netflix, and it's it's one of the biggest shows out.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely huge. It's a great watch, and like Martin said, a great family show. Well, it's a family show, but also it's for the kids, it's for the adults. Everyone can enjoy it. It's an absolute fantastic one. Be sure to check it out. Thank you again, Martin.
My pleasure.
Thank you to our guests, Alex, Venita, and Martin. We will see you tomorrow for Electric Going Deeper with the one and only Bella Thorne. You definitely do not want to miss that. It is dramatic, emotional, and you will not want to miss it. And then on Thursday, we will be back covering all your favorite shows. We'll get into a little bit more Summer House, because I know we only talked about it briefly this episode. There's just so much. Plus, we get into some more Love is Blind and so much more. We'll see you then. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.